Live? I think we're live.
Hello,
hello.
Hello.
Hi. It's hard to tell without me seeing my own stream. Yes, I think we're live.
Yeah, we're off to the
Yes,
races.
yes, we are
How's
live
it going, friends?
It's going.
Good. There's a debate happening tonight that we are covering live. Oh yeah, sorry, we got people here. Here we have guest letter hack. Is it Matt Strackbine or Bean? I always forget.
Strackbine. Yeah, that works.
Bine. Yeah.
That's how I
And
say
of
it.
course, Benjamin Dixon back again.
What's going on, gentlemen?
For
Hello.
debate number 2. Are you guys ready for this debate?
Yeah.
Whatever the hell's gonna happen.
No, I'm honestly not ready for this madness, but let's do it.
Yeah, it's impossible to adequately prepare yourself mentally for what we're about to see. It usually takes days to decompress and purge your mind of the stupidity that you hear. But we do this for you all. So it's a self-sacrifice.
Oh yeah, we are it's always funny whenever there's like I have to do something really late. I get really tired early. Like I'm usually never tired till 10-11 p.m. But whether it's like a GOP debate or one of our podcasts, when it hits like 6 o'clock, I'm like, I gotta go to bed. I don't know what it is. Like my body knows I have to work later, so I get more exhausted.
You're just getting older, man. That's all. You're just getting older. Welcome to the club.
Oh, great. This is what it's like.
How late did you guys go the first debate? Like midnight?
I don't think we went super late, actually. We kind of rushed through the super chat portion, or at least I left. Oh, no, I remember. So I left, and then I was doing stuff. I went to the gym, and I checked my phone, and Matt was still live debating the one person that called in. And Matt went really late.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
About that. We tried
like,
the calls last time.
Yeah, we did
that
an
didn't work
impromptu
because
debate.
You guys couldn't hear it. Yeah, so it was weird.
We had to relay messages to Matt. Hey, Matt, tell him that he's wrong and fuck him.
So I saw Johnny Maga post this. This is who's going to be in the debate tonight. I'm guessing he made this intro because it's ridiculous. Check this out.
Ron DeSantis, Lockdown University.
Vivek Ramaswamy, World Economic Forum Business School.
Nikki Haley, Bush War Crime Institute.
Tim Scott, Kissless Virgin Meal. Chris Christie, Golden Corral State.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Mike Pence, Mother's Closet.
Doug Burgum, why am I here?
There we go.
That was good.
There you go, right?
This is the lineup.
Well,
I was
saying before I stepped away I'm seriously considering voting for Doug Burgum. Wait, we're live on YouTube? No! You went live when I wasn't here. I didn't realize. Oh well.
Oh yes.
Now everyone knows I'm feeling Burgomania.
He's a Burgum bro.
I mean, if Pelosi's not going to run.
Yeah, big Burgum bro here.
Burgum Bros. Wow, that's a good one.
Burgum bro.
Binder, what did you think about the news that Nancy Pelosi was thinking about running again? Are you super excited? I know you're a big fan.
As long as she's in Congress, I'm interested in what's going on in Congress.
Did she say that? I thought she said she's leaving.
I think she said she was considering running again.
I can't keep track.
Last week.
I mean, she's. I think it means a lot. It's much different for a House member to say they're running for re-election than a senator.
Yeah.
Right. A 6-year term versus a 2-year term is a big difference. Yeah. So I think her running one more time is not out of bounds, I guess. I mean, let's be honest. She's not like Dianne Feinstein. You'd be lying to yourself to act like she seems fine.
She's only 89 and not 96, so she's still a young spring chicken, comparatively speaking.
I'm not someone who thinks there should be any sort of term limits or anything like that. I think we go down a path we don't want to go down if that's what we want. I think it honestly works in the favor of Republicans' term limits, simply because they just throw anyone out there. They don't give a shit. Look at all the crazy ass people who come out of the woodwork. QAnon believers running, like 10 QAnon believers running in like one House race every all over the country every other year now. So I mean, I'm fine with no term limits.
Yeah, I would agree with that actually.
What do we expect to be the big topics tonight in this debate?
Unions
is this week. What is it? What is it that they're scaring everybody around this week? Oh, the border. The border.
Right.
Border,
yeah.
Yes, that'll be in there.
Good one.
Oh, I did not grab my bingo sheet, by the way. I'm gonna get that really quick before it starts.
Yeah, I was trying to like think about this like seriously. Like if I was going to think about this debate seriously, how would I look at it and what would I want to see? I guess they'd be going after Nikki Haley this time, right? Because her bump in the polls kind of like it wasn't significant, but it was more than everybody else after the first debate, right?
Yeah.
Like they're going to be scared she's snagging their donor money or something. I don't know.
I honestly don't think
she
it matters.
did pretty good last debate.
Debates.
I agree, Ben.
Yeah.
Right. So they're going to attack this time. Is she ready for that?
You know what? I think
Nikki Haley is ready to be attacked. One thing, when I saw her last, what was it, a month ago? I don't, however long ago it was. I think she's good with countering attacks, but I don't think that boost is going to last long, no matter how well she performs, because we're still talking about the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Trump
that's
got
the
a
thing.
boost
Like
too.
without Trump there, whatever happens there doesn't matter. Like winning a debate means congratulations, you're in second place. Like a bump in the polls after the debates, I should say, means congratulations, you're in second place. This they can't knock him down if he doesn't show. Like he's pretty smart by doing this. Like he's it's unlikely, but there's a better chance of something going wrong at the debates and him getting hurt in the polls than like what's a good debate for Trump do for him? Nothing.
So you think he's smart for doing it because he's kind of scared to do it? Like he's worried something will go wrong? Is that what you mean?
I mean,
he's avoiding it.
In most, I would say in a normal election, people would look at not showing up at a debate as a bad thing for the candidate, and that would then hurt them in the polls. But for Trump, it doesn't matter. His base doesn't care. They love him.
Do you think anyone is going to do more kissing of Ronald Reagan's butt or Donald Trump?
For sure.
Look who's right there on screen right now. They're already.
Yeah, definitely Ronald Reagan. I mean,
I think Trump not being there gives them an opening to actually do some hero worship of Ronald Reagan versus everything about the GOP right now. I don't even think they really care about Reagan as much as Donald Trump. They worship Trump, so he left a big opening there.
Yeah.
So do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think whoever ends up in second place is like a VP hopeful or no? Like Trump's
I don't think Trump gives
anyone
a shit,
running
to be
right
honest
now.
with you.
He's like,
I don't think Trump
blacklisting
cares.
him. Yeah.
I think Trump will just pick whoever he thinks will just kind of be subservient to him and who is could appear respectful enough, who's respectable enough, like someone like a Pence who's just kind of like a blank slate, at least in his mind, and will just not really question him. So
he's going to pick a VP who would steal the election or who would have stolen the election for him, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you say it jokingly, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the
literally,
the questions during like the interview for VPs. It's like, what would you have done on January 6th?
Trump didn't sign the RNC's pledge to support whoever the nominee is. He didn't. I mean, I guess he didn't sign it because it's going to be him, but that's kind of like his thing is to not support fair elections or whatever.
The first person who says, if I were Mike Pence, I would have hung myself is going to be his VP. I promise you.
I don't know if I want to.
I'm Stuart Varney of Fox Business, and I am thrilled to be sitting alongside my co-moderators, Fox News Channel Dana Perino and Ilya Calderon, Univision.
Wow.
There we go. Good start.
President Reagan famously described America as a shining city on a hill. And tonight, 7 candidates will make the case they should be the one to lead that city into a brighter tomorrow. But first, they have to convince you, the voter. Please allow me to welcome our Spanish-speaking audience. Muy buenas noches a todos. Desde la Biblioteca Presidencial Ronald Reagan, los precandidatos republicanos también buscan su voto para las primarias del partido. Bienvenidos.
And good evening. So let's meet the candidates who have qualified and chosen to be on this stage tonight. They are positioned by the order they rank in the polls, with the highest polling candidate in the middle. Standing center stage, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
That smile is so painful.
Yeah, he practiced a little bit, I think.
And former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley.
Next is South Carolina Senator Tim Scott and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
On the wing tonight, former Vice President Mike Pence. And North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum.
Hey, Rebecca.
Hi.
Questions on a wide variety of issues important to primary voters. Candidates get 1 minute to answer and 30 seconds to respond if singled out. When their time runs out, we'll all hear this. We have a lot of ground to cover, so please keep it civilized.
Let's get going. We are in this spacious, sunny place tonight, designed to reflect the very nature and character of Ronald Reagan. It's a place that makes you proud to be an American. Yet today our nation is drowning in division and incivility.
Voters say they dread the 2024 election and find politics exhausting. 2 in 3 Americans think the country is on the wrong track, and 3 in 4 say the economy is not in good shape.
Prices are up 18% since 2020. More than half of the U.S. population has little access to childcare. 85% of Americans say their personal finances are a source of stress.
Americans want to believe a leader who says, "You can follow me. I've got you. Don't worry." President Biden is trying to do that with Bidenomics.
And yesterday, he joined the picket lines where auto workers are demanding more wages and job security. Senator Scott, you recently reacted by praising Ronald Reagan for firing air traffic controllers in the 1980s, saying, "You strike, you're fired." Would you fire thousands of striking auto workers today, Senator?
Obviously, the President of the United States cannot fire anybody in the private sector. However, we should look back at the first bill in Congress under Joe Biden. The first bill had $86 billion for the union pensions because they continue to overpromise yet underdeliver. One of the challenges that we have in the current negotiations is that they want 4-day French work weeks, but more money. They want more benefits, working fewer hours. That is simply not going to stand. I sat in a finance committee hearing when a widow came before the committee who was promised pensions from the unions, $4,000 a month. Unfortunately, it had been cut to $1,000 a month. We must make sure that we honor the commitments that we make, and one of the ways that we do that, do not overpromise and then underdeliver and leave the taxpayers on the hook. I'll say this, Joe Biden should not be on the picket line. He should be on the southern border working to close our southern border.
Trump already said this.
Unsafe, wide open,
Carbon copy.
and insecure, leading to the deaths of 70,000 Americans in the last 12 months because of fentanyl. It is devastating. Every county
These
in
people
America
are so
is now
fucking
a
stupid.
border county because fentanyl has devastated Americans.
What do you mean by
in
these
every
people,
single
David?
state. I will also say 6 million illegal crossings since Joe Biden has taken office, and he eliminated Title 42. The one thing he should do is finish the wall, reinstate Title 42, and get the job done.
Well, I can promise you that we are going
You
to
felt
have
that
a
last
lot
one.
of questions on the border and immigration. But in the meantime, we do want to talk about the economy and jobs, and especially want to talk about this strike for just a moment more. Mr. Ramaswamy, you've said you really empathize with the strikers. You're standing next to Senator Scott. Do you agree with what he said, or do you think he's wrong?
I agree with some of what he said, for sure. I like the spirit of it. I'll say that I don't have a lot of patience for the union bosses. I think that's where he and I actually have a common view. I do have a lot of sympathy for the workers, however. People are going through real hardship in this country. I've been through hardship growing up. My father stared down layoffs at GE under Jack Welch's tenure at the GE plant in Evendale, Ohio. My mom had to work overtime in nursing homes in Southwest Ohio to make ends meet and pay off our home loan. So I understand that hardship is not a choice. But victimhood is a choice, and we choose to be victorious in the United States of America. You know what, if I was giving advice to those workers, I would say go picket in front of the White House in Washington, D.C. That's really where the protest needs to be. Disastrous economic policies that have driven up prices, that have driven up interest rates and mortgage rates, at the same time wages remaining stagnant. What we need is to deliver economic growth in this country, unlock American energy, drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear energy, put people back to work by no longer paying them more money to stay at home, stabilize the U.S. dollar itself.
Who's doing that? They're still using like the old COVID talking points that haven't been the case for multiple years now.
That is how we unleash American exceptionalism. And that's not a Democratic vision or a Republican vision. That is an American vision that we embrace economic growth, and capitalism is still the best system known to man to lift us up from poverty, and we should not apologize for it.
That's not bad.
That's
them.
The stream said, listen, lies.
Vice President Pence,
weird.
Last week
Try to
you
pull
said
Mitch McConnell.
you side with American workers, but you also support how these companies operate. Which is it?
Well, thank you for the question. I want to thank Univision. And
Why
Fox
is he wearing an
Business for
oversized
assembling
suit?
Such a wonderful forum.
It's too large. Do you see? Look, it looks like a jacket.
His mother picked it up
Joe
for
Biden
him.
doesn't belong on the picket line. He belongs on the unemployment line.
He looks like a toddler wearing adult clothes.
It's like the one they give you at restaurants when you don't show up with a blazer.
I was governor of the state of Indiana. We brought 12,000 factories back to America during our administration. I know something about manufacturing. And I got to tell you, while the union bosses are talking about class warfare and talking about disparity in wages, I have to tell you, I really believe what's driving that is Bidenomics has failed. Wages are not keeping up with inflation. Auto workers and all American workers are feeling it, and families are struggling in this economy. And Joe Biden's Green New Deal agenda is good for Beijing and bad for Detroit. We ought to repeal the Green New Deal, get rid of the mandates and subsidies that are driving American gasoline automotive
What Green New Deal? Like what?
I just learned the Green New Deal passed, guys.
Apparently.
As President of the United States, I'll be standing with workers all across America, and I'll be standing for the right to work of every American to join a union or not join a union as they decide.
Senator Scott, you were mentioned. Will you care to respond?
There's no doubt that Joe Biden needs to be fired. That's why I'm running for president. I look forward to being the next president of the United States. I will also say, I know America can do for anyone what she's done for me. It's why we're focusing on restoring hope, creating opportunities, and protecting the America we all love. Growing up in a single-parent household,
You just misgendered America.
The American dream would work for a kid in the inner city.
America's
I've got
definitely
good
there.
news for every single child. Whether you're in the inner cities of Chicago or the rural parts of Iowa, America and the dream, it is alive, it is well, and it is healthy. God bless these United States of America.
Graham looking a little ashy. They didn't do right. They did not do right. It's just
what
not.
happened. Biden showed up on that picket line. But why are those workers actually there? It's because of all of the spending that he has pushed through in the economy that's raised the inflation. So when you look at the fact that we are paying higher gas prices, higher grocery prices, $7,000 more a year for families, what we need to do is I came out with an economic plan. Eliminate the gas and diesel tax so that they have more money in their pocket. Let's focus on going after middle America and cutting taxes for middle America and collapsing those brackets. Let's get rid of unfair distortions like the state and local tax that they give to wealthy people in blue states and not paid by red states. And let's make sure we make the small business taxes permanent. They only made those temporary. They made the corporate taxes permanent. Let's focus on what it takes to get more cash in the pockets of workers. That's when we'll be able to deal with strikes like this, not sitting on a picket line like Joe Biden is.
Thank you, Governor Haley. We have other questions about economy.
I've been down there for like 15 minutes.
Sorry. Allow me to.
I'm sorry, I have to jump in because we're missing the point, and every other network is missing the point. The reason why people are striking in Detroit is because Joe Biden's interference with capital markets and with free markets. The subsidies, we're subsidizing the
That's not why they're striking.
And we're subsidizing the cars, and a particular kind of car, not every car. We're subsidizing electric vehicles. And when you decide that we're going to take all of your taxpayer monies, take $1 billion, subsidize a certain type of vehicle, and the batteries come from China. China controls 85% of the rare earth minerals. They're called rare earth because they're measured in parts per million. China is moving 100,000 pounds of earth in Indonesia, in Africa. They're literally destroying the planet so that they can make a battery that's in a car subsidized here. That's why they're striking, because they need 2/3 less workers to build an electric car.
That's not
Joe
why
Biden,
they're
this strike is
what?
at Joe Biden's feet.
I'm so confused after that explanation.
But allow me to follow question to Governor Christie.
You guys are really quiet,
shut
right?
Down if Congress does not reach a deal by the end of this week. Vice President Pence warns that politics of, quote, Trump's populist proteges, like Mr. Ramaswamy, are a road to ruin for the GOP. If the government shuts down, should voters blame populist Republicans?
Voters should blame everybody who's in Washington, D.C. They get sent down there to do the job, and they've been failing at doing the job for a very long time. And let's be honest about this with the voters. You know, during the Trump administration, they added $7 trillion. $7 trillion in national debt. And now the Biden administration has put another $5 trillion on and counting. They have failed, and they're in the spot they're in now because none of them are willing to tell the truth. None of them are willing to take on the difficult issues. They just want to keep kicking the can down the road. And the inflation that Nikki spoke about is absolutely right, and it's caused by government spending. And that's why people all across this country are suffering tonight. And yet we don't get any answers because Joe Biden hides in his basement and won't answer as to why he's raising the debt the way he's done. And Donald Trump hides behind the walls of his golf clubs and won't show up here to answer questions like all the rest of us are up here to answer. He put $7 trillion on the debt. He should be in this room to answer those questions for the people you talk about who are suffering. And if
Good on him for attacking Trump.
If the government closes, it's the blame. It is to the blame of everyone in Washington, D.C., who has failed to do their job and just plays to the grandstand.
The next question is for Governor DeSantis.
It's like a Leftist Mafia podcast over here.
That's funny. That's funny, David.
The people in Washington are shutting down the American dream with their reckless behavior. They borrowed, they printed, they spent, and now you're paying more for everything. They are the reason for that. They have shut down our national sovereignty by allowing our border to be wide open. So please spare me the crocodile tears for these people. They need to change what's going on. And where's Joe Biden? He's completely missing in action from leadership. And you know who else is missing in action? Donald Trump is missing in action. He should be on this stage tonight. He owes it to you to defend his record, where they added $7.8 trillion to the debt. That set the stage for the inflation that we have now. I can tell you this is Governor of Florida.
I mean, that was just Christie's line, but okay.
Yeah.
Paid down over 25% of our state debt, and I vetoed wasteful spending when it came to my desk. And as your president, when they send me a bloating spending bill that's going to cause your prices to go up, I'm going to take out this veto pen and I'm going to send it right back to them.
The prop.
The visual aids are so unnecessary.
He didn't know whether to smile or.
know that you've been thinking about it because childcare costs, they are up. They're topping $10,000 per
The lady in the
month.
back text,
Some families
she
are spending
texting.
up to half of their income on childcare, and they're having to decide: is it worth it for me to work?
So what do you do?
Or does it not
Oh,
make sense
fuck
for me
'em.
financially. In 3 days, the billions of dollars in pandemic-era funding is going to end, and 70,000 daycares could close. So you had an effort to broaden eligibility for child care assistance. That fell apart last year. And for the moms and dads out there who are worried, what can you tell them if you weren't able to get it through the Congress? How could you do it as president?
Certainly one of the things I did as a member of Congress was to make sure that we protected the Head Start programs around the country, giving people the opportunity to pick and choose the place that they send their children. The challenges that we see today under the Biden administration is that the cost for daycare has gone over $15,000 per child. In the Build Back Broker plan, he called it a Build Back Better plan, it was going up to $29,000. The way we fix that problem is to make sure that we actually cut taxes and give more Americans their money back. When
Republicans voted against childcare. Like this kind of shit is so it's so insidious.
By 70% on the federal level. For dual income households by 60%. Then we went a step further. We doubled the child tax credit and made it refundable. By doing that, more parents had more resources.
And then didn't allow it to be renewed.
Take care of their family. The one thing we should do is let the American people keep their money. When that happens, the greatest opportunities rise from the ashes.
Okay, I need to jump 15 seconds. Go ahead. And then we're going to the border.
Ilya mischaracterized a part of my view. I think this artificial division is unhelpful in our party. The real divide is not between the Republicans on this stage. And in the Reagan Library, I want to say these are good people on this stage. The real divide is between the majority of us in this country who love the United States of America and share our founding ideals. Free speech, meritocracy, the idea you get ahead in this country, not in the color of your skin, but on the content of your character.
He's going through the whole platitudes
He's like, okay, that's enough of this bullshit. All right.
Yeah.
I want to say what I want to say.
So this populist versus classical debate is artificial.
He is cosplaying a Republican. He is so phony. I don't believe a word he says.
Yep.
Well, I don't believe any of them, but he's faking it.
We have all these questions. We're going to get to you. We're going to come back to you. There's a lot of time.
We're about childcare. Nobody answered the questions. In North Dakota, we knew that the cliff was coming.
Who are you?
Without it. And so guess what? We planned.
This guy's privilege is showing.
We passed legislation.
Sir, we will get you some questions, but you're going to have to let us move on. We are going to.
Douglas, sit down.
In 1984, President Ronald Reagan said the following.
The idea of amnesty for those who have put down roots and who have lived here, even though some time back they may have entered illegally.
2 years later, President Reagan granted amnesty to nearly 3 million immigrants, something no Democrat or Republican president has done since.
Very true.
Governor Christie.
I'm amazed they're bringing this up.
As governor of a non-border state in 2010, you supported a path to citizenship. But when you ran for president in 2016, you flipped, saying immigrants should be tracked like FedEx packages. Where do you stand on a path
and it's
to
coming from clearly an immigrant.
for 11 million of undocumented immigrants?
The problem is
Great
no one has
question.
done anything since we first had this discussion 13 years ago. We're not in a position to be able to do any of that anymore. What we have to do now is first treat this like the law enforcement problem it is. Our laws are being broken every day at the southern border, every day. And Joe Biden and his crew is doing nothing about enforcing that law. They are letting it go. And by the way, they announced during the presidential race they were going to let it go. And we need to have a president who acts like I did as governor, enforce the law. First and foremost. And that means what I'll do on day one is sign an executive order to send the National Guard to partner with Customs and Border Patrol to make sure that we stop the flow of fentanyl over the border, but also to make sure
this is complete
that we send
deflection.
a different message.
Yeah.
We want you
It
here
sucks
in
that
this
Mexico
country to
invented
fill
fentanyl,
the
too.
6 million vacant jobs we have, but only if you come here to follow the law and only if you come here legally. If you come here illegally, we will apprehend you and we will send you back across the border from which you came. And the fact is that until we set a law and order agenda in this country, not only now but in the future, we won't be able to continue this. And
That's already happening.
Donald Trump failed on this as well. He said he was going to build a wall across the whole border. He built 52 miles of wall and said Mexico would pay for it. Guess what? I think if Mexico knew that he was only going to build 52 miles, they might have paid for the 52 miles.
Thank you, Governor. Governor Haley.
I feel like he wants to
Most
say
illegal
we need
immigrants are
good
coming from countries
Democrats.
south of the border. You've seen the Fox News drone. It's captured this steady stream of people coming into the country on a daily basis. In fact, I believe we have a live picture of it tonight that is happening right now.
Oh no.
Oh, look at the crowds.
The U.S. has spent
I know.
Take it over.
How dare they after we destroyed their countries?
All of those people
Able-bodied.
will shut down America. My God.
Is only growing. Are we wasting our money?
Well, what happens is when Joe Biden waved the green flag, it told everybody to come. And now we've seen 6 million people
What's
cross
the green
border.
flag?
We've had more fentanyl.
Yeah,
They've
never
killed Americans in the
heard that.
Iraq, Vietnam,
That's
or
not true. They told the
Afghanistan
people, do not
wars
come.
combined. We need to make sure that we are
Right.
a country of
It's a
laws.
meme
The
even,
second
Rebecca.
we stop being a country of laws,
Do not
we give up
come.
everything
Exactly.
this country was founded on. So we have to secure the border. The way we do that is, first of all, defund sanctuary cities. You see what's happening in Philadelphia right now. It's got to stop. We need to make
What's
sure
happening
we
there?
put 25,000 more Border Patrol and ICE agents on the ground and let them do their job. I spent 400 miles down that border, and I'm telling you, Border Patrol agents aren't allowed to do their job. Let's go back to remain in Mexico policy. Instead of catch and release, let's go to catch and deport.
What about
and
the
let's
aid that what about the aid that federal taxpayers are paying to deal with the root causes? It's not working.
The
Or is
only
it?
aid that we should be spending right now is to secure the border, the southern border, the northern border, period.
You would cut
we
off
need
aid
to
to the
keep
region?
Americans safe, and right now Americans are not safe. Only when we fix the immigration system, only when we get the border secure, should we ever look at putting any more money into this. Our money should be about keeping Americans safe. We're not doing that. Joe Biden's not doing that. And you mentioned Congress and shutting down government. I'll make it clear. We have to change the budget process in 4 years. In 40 years. Congress has only delivered a budget on time 4 times in 40 years. If they don't keep the government open, they should not get paid. No pay, no budget. That's the way we should.
Governor DeSantis, we have a question for you. Governor DeSantis, China invested $12 billion in Latin America just last year. They signed strategic partnerships with 7 countries, including Mexico. And China's military ties to the region now include arms sales and training exercises. Are you comfortable with China deepening ties with our southern neighbors?
Of course not. And the reason why we're in this mess is because elites in D.C. for far too long have chosen surrender over strength when it comes to the CCP. Some people in our country got rich, our industrial base got hollowed out, and they have been able to build the second most powerful military in the entire world. We need a totally new approach to China. We are going to have real hard power in the Indo-Pacific, like Reagan, to deter their ambitions. We're going to have economic independence from China, where we're decoupling our economy, and we are going to go after the cultural power that in this country. As governor of Florida, I banned the CCP from buying land in our state. We should do that all across these United States. We shouldn't have them in our universities. We shouldn't have Confucius
What? Foreign students?
So you see a country in decline, our power's in decline. China's going to surpass us this decade, and if they do that, that's going to affect every single American household. As your president, I am not going to let that happen. I'm going to reverse this country's decline. We are going to choose strength, not surrender when it comes to the CCP.
America is not a country in decline. Under Joe Biden, we are a country in retreat.
You propose, quote, universal deportation for all undocumented immigrants and their children, even if the children are citizens of the United States. Under what legal premise will you expel U.S. citizens?
So the first thing I want to say is I agree with everything the Republicans on the stage are on the right side of this issue. Militarize the southern border, stop funding sanctuary cities, and end foreign aid to Mexico and Central America to end the incentives to come across. But I do go a step further. You're right about that, Ilya. I favor ending birthright citizenship for the kids of illegal immigrants in this country. Now, the left will howl about the Constitution and the 14th Amendment.
Right.
The difference between me and them is I've actually read the 14th Amendment. What it says is that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the laws and jurisdiction thereof are citizens. So nobody believes that the kid of a Mexican diplomat in this country enjoys birthright citizenship. Not a judge or legal scholar in this country will disagree with me on that. Well, if the kid of a Mexican diplomat doesn't enjoy birthright citizenship, then neither does the kid of an illegal migrant who broke the law to come here. And as the father of 2 sons, it is hard for me to look them in the eye and say, you have to follow the law when our own government fails to follow its own laws. That's how we really go the distance and solve this problem and restore the rule of law in the United States of America, because that is part of what it even means to be
Hecking
an American.
DeSantis right now.
Yeah. I like how they all completely ignored the Reagan clip. Like that was
Yeah,
never
I know. Yeah, no one's answered it yet.
Quickly forgotten about.
14th Amendment, it was certainly written as it relates to slavery, not as it relates to illegal immigration. It's been applied to illegal immigration. So the challenge that we face is, in fact, one that has to do with whether or not the people that come here are under the jurisdiction of our laws. And frankly, if you come here illegally, you are not. Now, surviving a Supreme Court argument is something I can't tell you. But from
wait, are they arguing that immigrants could come here, undocumented immigrants could come here and break laws and not get in trouble for it?
Apparently,
because they're not under the jurisdiction of the law.
We have no jurisdiction over them.
I'll go one step further, though. When we have a conversation about the things that are happening on this stage, we think about the fact that Vivek just said we were all good people, and I appreciate that, because last debate he said we were all bought and paid for. And I thought about
No, they
that
said
for a
you
while
were.
and said, you know,
Yeah.
I can't
It was a direct
imagine
attack.
how you could say that, knowing that you were just in business with the Chinese Communist Party and the same people that funded Hunter
Shots fired.
Biden millions of dollars was a partner of yours as well.
Wow.
So look, here's what I want to respond. These are good people who are tainted by a broken system, and it's not the fault of anybody who's involved.
Some of us are tainted.
Excuse me. Thank you for speaking while I'm interrupting. While I'm speaking.
While you
One of the challenges
focus on the issues that matter. We know we did business in China. Everybody knows that.
If I may address,
focus on holding Joe Biden accountable. That's what we need to be focusing on.
I actually agree with Ron DeSantis.
Speaking at the same time, no one can understand your
Exactly.
message.
So if I may, I agree with Ron DeSantis on China. When every other CEO expanded into the Chinese market, you know what I did with my first company? We opened a subsidiary in China. But you know what I did that was different than every other company? We got the hell out of there. And when I started my next company, Strive, years ago, right when I started my next company, Strive, to compete against BlackRock, excuse me, to compete against BlackRock, I made a commitment that we would never do business in China. And I will say something.
Yes. I think you have more than time to explain your point.
Well, if I was interrupted by a lot of people here, and I want to be respectful because I believe these are good people, but I do not believe in these. We're sitting here in the Reagan Library.
Yes, I wish you
in
did
the
not think it
honor
was
of
midnight
Ronald
in
Reagan's
America.
library, if I may, from one admirer of Ronald Reagan to another. From one admirer of Reagan to another.
Vivek's killing himself again in the polls, without a doubt. I said it last time. People do, even base Republicans do not like young smarminess. And that's all he is.
Vice President Pence, in 2017, the Trump-Pence administration canceled DACA, which put the legal status of 600,000 Dreamers in the hands of the courts. Dreamers work and they pay taxes. As president, if the Supreme Court ends DACA, would you work with Congress to reach a permanent solution for Dreamers?
Well, first, let me say I'm glad Vivek pulled out of his business deal in 2018 in China. That must have been about the time you decided to start voting in presidential elections. So, participating in elections. So,
not like Pence with the Chevy.
Wow, like that. Even Pence
negotiated the Remain in Mexico policy with the Mexican government. We used economic power to bring the Mexican government to the table. We built hundreds of miles of border wall. And despite what's said here today, we reduced illegal immigration and asylum abuse by 90%. And as President of the United States, I can do it again. And the truth is we need to fix a broken immigration system, and I'll do that as well. But first and foremost, a nation without borders is not a nation. And we have to secure the southern border of the United States of America. I know how to do it, and we will do it again. Let me say one other thing about China.
Vice
Let me say one other thing about China.
Would you negotiate with Congress to give a solution to the problem that dreamers have right now. They are on a limbo.
That's the question.
I served in Congress for 12 years.
I want to hear about
it seemed
China.
Longer. But you know, something I've done different than everybody on this stage is I've actually secured reform in Congress. You know, Ron, you talk a really good game about cutting spending, but you've increased spending in Florida by 30%. When I was a member of Congress in 2006, right after Hurricane Katrina, Dana, you remember it, we stood our ground. I led House conservatives. We cut $100 billion out of the federal budget. It can be done, but as I said in the last debate, I'll say again, this is no time for on-the-job training. I'm going to be ready on day one to get Congress to step up, secure the southern border of the United States, build a military fitted to our times, and we're going to get spending in Washington, D.C. under control once and for all.
They're looking for
No one's
sound
answering
bites.
any questions.
Right.
They're focused on sound bites. They want that viral moment.
Yeah.
Make America safer as rising crime plagues our cities. Debate night continues in moments.
I could answer that in 2 seconds. More cops. Next question. That's what they're gonna say. I mean, they're so predictable. They're so predictable. And when Vivek Ramaswamy was like, you know, I can't tell them, it's hard for me to look at my kids and tell them they shouldn't break the law. When other people are breaking the law, it's like, are your kids like, Daddy, can I break the law? I really want to steal a PS5. Daddy, please. No, you can't. I know it's unfair, but like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Their focus is on none of them answered the questions, and we see because everyone in the chat was saying they forgot Mike Pence was there. I did too, right, for a second. And because we were so focused on the mess that was happening, the cattiness that was happening, Tim Scott wanted to go back to, because online everybody was like, not them asking Tim Scott if he was bought and sold or whatever the question was. He wanted to go back and talk about that. And there's like, no, you answered the questions that they're asking you. And we see that they're focused on when we're talking about immigration. She's like, well, what would you do with these programs, with DACA, with this and that and that? They're all like, yeah, just, you know, build that wall, you know, we'll secure the borders. That's what we'll do. I mean, what else can we do? We don't want MS-13, you know, we don't want gangs here. Then the B-roll that they showed, like, what was that? That was first of all, a very uniform line. They weren't doing anything. They didn't look dangerous. You guys were just shipping them back. That's all that was. It didn't look dangerous, but that's what they want us to believe. Fentanyl comes from them. The drugs come from them. The gangs come from them. They're taking our jobs. So we must seal up the border. But they weren't answering any questions about the programs, about nothing. It's just Hunter Biden. Then they want to look at somebody two opponents away and be like, Rick Scott. Not Rick Scott. Shout out to Rick Scott. But Ron DeSantis, you, sir, like, remember Florida, you've been overspending over there. What are we talking about? You guys want to mention China, all of these things that are not actually we need these questions answered. And this is how we can see it's a mess. And this is who our potential leaders might be. None of them will answer the questions, and none of them are about the people. They're just there for sound bites. They're just there to look good. And Mike Pence keeps bringing up when he, like, things he did in 1992. Baby, it's 2023. What are we doing?
Mike Pence brought up like 2006. Like, yeah, he had to go back that far to find anything he may have done.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but then like Ramaswamy's not saying anything that they weren't saying back in the 80s and 90s. I mean, it's just he's leaning into the Republican rhetoric. That's why I feel like he's cosplaying.
The birth thing was new, though, right? I haven't heard the birth one before. Like, anyone who gives birth in the United States, even if they happen to be like an illegal immigrant, will no longer qualify as being an American citizen.
I think he said that before, because I remember thinking, oh, of course he's going to say this because he's afraid he'll get criticism for not being a white guy. So he has to go all in for his party on the bullshit. Vivek.
Yeah, Vivek.
Somebody help me understand. His parents immigrated here, and then he was born here.
That's what I thought.
So he's literally a beneficiary of the exact system he's saying.
That's why he's got to be the one to come out against it.
I mean, everyone who's not native is either the son of an immigrant or an immigrant, right?
Yeah,
right. We're all illegal as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Send us all back.
Yeah, but most of us, you know, well, not me, but the rest of you, yes. But I mean, for Vivek, though, it's one generation, like just his life is literally the exact thing that he's targeting, which is I get that he's doing that on behalf of white supremacy, but the fact that nobody is calling him out specifically on that is hilarious. But I am enjoying watching all of them take turns bullying him. I've never been pro bully until I met them.
Did Vivek channel Martin Luther King Jr. for he said we're not the what was he tried to
it
didn't give they keep trying to stick these landings.
And the more you mention each other, that means the fewer questions you're going to get. Okay, so we want to talk about crime. This has been a horrendous problem.
This is going to be bad.
Fox News and others have been covering
it.
Governor Christie, crime in major cities is striking fear into the hearts of Americans. Just last night, looters took over the streets of Philadelphia. You said in the last debate that you would use U.S. attorneys to prosecute crimes local prosecutors won't. But they are stretched as well, and they could not handle all of the lawlessness, the shoplifting, all the carjackings, the armed robberies. They're all surging. Progressive prosecutors were elected by their constituents, and they can't be fired by a president. So what would you do to end the revolving door of criminality?
Well, look, Dana, I'm the only one on this stage who's done it. For 7 years, I ran the 5th largest office in this country. At the U.S. Attorney's Office in New Jersey, and we set records for the number of prosecutions that we brought that still have not been broken. And the reason was that we went after the crime that was affecting people's lives. And as president, I will appoint an attorney general and instruct that attorney general that you are to put all the resources that are necessary to bring our cities back under control. The fact is, they will be stretched. There's no doubt about that, but that's what they take the job for, because they love the idea of enforcing the law. We've got to bring law and order back to this country, and not just in our cities. But we need the law and order back everywhere. We need law and order back in our suburbs. People are threatened there. We need it in our rural areas. People feel threatened there. And we need it in Washington, D.C. also. And Donald Trump should be here to answer for that, but he's not. And I want to look at that camera right now and tell you, Donald, I know you're watching.
Oh, my God.
You can't help yourself. I know
he's giving a speech right now, live.
And you're not here tonight. Not because of polls and not because of your indictments. You're not here tonight because you're afraid of being on the stage and defending your record. You're ducking these things. And let me tell you what's going to happen. You keep doing that, no one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
All right.
You keep ducking these things.
He really worked.
I'm embarrassed.
He planned that.
He workshopped that.
Yeah, that's definitely
Think about dealing with the root causes of crime, especially this revolving door of criminals. They just get out and come back and do another crime.
Well, the crime in these cities is one of the strongest signs of the decaying of America. We can't be successful as a country if people aren't even safe to live in places like Los Angeles and San Francisco. Just being in Southern California over the last couple of days, my wife and I have met 3 people who have been mugged on the street, and that would have never happened 10 or 20 years ago. In Florida, we back the blue. We support the men and women of law enforcement. They are keeping us safe. We have a 50-year low in the crime rate, and yes, when I had 2 progressive prosecutors that weren't following the law in Florida, I removed them from their posts, and the people of Florida are safer as a result of it. As president, I will use the Justice Department to bring civil rights cases against all of those left-wing Soros-funded prosecutors. We're not going to let them get away with it anymore. We want to reverse this country's decline. We need to choose law and order over rioting and disorder.
On a related subject,
the weird smile.
Haley,
Yeah, that was awkward again.
Shortage. Retirements are up. Recruitment is in the tank. Morale is at a record low. 3 years ago, you signed a pledge to support law enforcement. Now, pledges are a nice idea, but what's your actual plan to get more police on our streets?
Well, and I actually did it in South Carolina, too. You know, what we knew in South Carolina was you take care of those who take care of you. We have to start taking care of law enforcement, but it's not just taking care of them with words. It's making sure that you also follow through on what they do. Right now, we have a lot of stolen guns on the street. Well, these law enforcement officers, they arrest these people, and then they go and they're let out the very next day. So law enforcement feels like no one has their back. We have to start prosecuting according to the law. We have to make sure we have the backs of law enforcement, and we have to make sure that we're a country of law and order. But I want to go back to China because I don't think we spent enough time on that. that. Right now, we have to look at what government's doing to hurt us against China, too. You have a company, U.S. Antibiotics, that produces amoxicillin, the #1 antibiotic that we need. And right now, there is a company in Bristol, Tennessee, that produces that. Yet our federal government only gets it from China. We need to be focusing on companies that produce in America and supporting those companies that produce in America, not companies that are helping China.
How about public funding and public production of pharmaceuticals? That sounds pretty
Also,
good.
can that company handle that kind of a load of production out of nowhere?
It affects all of us. Governor Burgum, for the first time ever, a Univision poll found that mass shootings and gun safety are one of the most important issues for Latino voters. Mental health concerns are not unique to the United States, but gun violence is. What is your specific plan to curb gun violence?
Well, first we need to know is
She's got to vote Democrat, right?
The liberal left seems to be just completely bent on
All these
prosecuting law-abiding citizens that are gun owners, because every solution they have to this is take away the Second Amendment rights of Americans, and somehow that's going to solve the problem. But all these cities that we're talking about that you showed the videos of tonight, they have some of the strictest gun laws in the country. So we know that that's not what's working. What we have to do is get back to the core issues about the family. We have to get back to
the family.
Mental health. We've got to get back.
She just said mental health issues aren't unique to the United States.
And like we've done in North Dakota, where we've got the goal and we're on the track to being the most military-friendly state in the nation. We've got the most military and the most support of what we're doing in terms of law enforcement, because the morale is down because we've been defunding the police because they've been attacked in the past.
Haven't.
The police have become the bad guys when they're the ones.
They are.
There's all these jobs available in America. Why would you be a policeman if people don't even respect them? Every time I see a policeman, the first thing I say is thank you. And so does everybody else in my family and most of the people in our state, because they know we have to respect.
Sorry to bother you. Thank you.
In my family, we suck off these hero cops whenever we see them.
According to Customs and Border Protection, about 90% of fentanyl is seized at official border crossings, and 57% of the smugglers are U.S. citizens. How will you stop fentanyl brought into the country, mostly by U.S. citizens, through ports of entry?
There's two sides to this, and we have to be very honest about it. One is we do have to seal that southern border. Building the wall is not enough. They're building cartel-financed tunnels.
David, we're safe. We can bring in all the fentanyl we want now.
We have to use our military to seal the Swiss cheese of a southern border. But we also have to be honest. There's a demand-side problem in this country, too, a mental health epidemic. I met family in Iowa. Two parents, Kathy and Derek.
Here we go.
They lost their son, Sebastian, 17 years old. He bought Percocet on Snapchat, and then he died. Why did he die? Because it was laced.
You can buy perks on
fentanyl.
Snapchat?
That is
Shit. I didn't know
closer
that.
to bioterrorism, not a
It's one of the
drug overdose.
features.
That
It's
is
built into the platform.
It's one of the buttons.
Yeah, it's right next to. There's the AI chatbot and then
the
Percocet button, right?
Now we're pumping pharmaceuticals, but with faith-based approaches that restore purpose and meaning in the next generation of Americans. Many of them are getting it through social media. And this isn't a Republican point or a Democrat point, but if you're 16 years old or under, you should not be using an addictive social media product, period. This is something
Social
that we can
media
both
product.
agree on, and we can revive both the mental health of this country while stopping
Wasn't
the
the question
fentanyl
about gun
epidemic that will
violence?
kill more people this year.
Yes, we got so far away from it.
It's a complete deflection.
Sitting in the White House like the hollowed out husk of a current president we have. We will step up and address this problem to stand for Americans and our children.
Encouraging TikTok. Quit encouraging TikTok.
That is why, everything he said I agree with. That is why, as Commander-in-Chief, I'm going to use the U.S. military to go after the Mexican drug cartels. They are
invade Mexico. Woo!
It's Mexicans that bring in fentanyl.
We had an infant, 18 months. Parents rented an Airbnb. And apparently the people that had rented it before
There go
were
the
using
story.
drugs. The infant was crawling,
Patty
the
with a
toddler was
pan.
crawling on the carpet and ingested fentanyl residue and died.
Bro,
Are we
come
just
on.
going to sit here and let this happen, this carnage happen in our country?
This sounds like
I
his
am not
abortion
going to do
story
that.
where somebody was aborted
Penny
3
with the
times and
pan.
lived.
Right. Survivor. It was an abortion survivor.
Right.
3 times. 3 abortion attempts, and she survived.
But those Mexican drug cartels are going to be treated like the foreign terrorist organizations.
President Pence. All right, Vice President Pence, we're going to
I need some backstory to these stories. Like, I gotta see the real story here.
They're not. He's making them up on the fly.
Yeah, there is none.
You said if elected, you would repeal all Obamacare mandates. However, you also made that same promise in 2016. And at that time, Trump-Pence had congressional majorities for at least the first 2 years, and you did not deliver on that promise. So Obamacare, right now, it is more popular than ever. Why should Americans trust you, if you become president, to fix that, or is Obamacare here to stay?
Well, first, let me speak to the mass shootings issue, and then I'll answer that question. It's an
Let me
important
hear
one,
it.
Dana.
Wow, weird.
Look, I'm someone that believes that justice delayed is justice denied. And as a father
God,
of
sniff
three, as
harder.
a grandfather
Jesus
of
Christ.
3 beautiful little girls, I am sick and tired
He's emotional.
of these mass shootings happening in the United States of America. And if I'm president of the United States, I'm going to go to the Congress of the United States, and we're going to pass a federal expedited death penalty for anyone involved in a mass shooting so that they will meet their fate.
That's not going to do shit.
Like 99% of mass shooters go out there hoping that they die suicide by cop. If they don't kill themselves in the process.
Is actually going to spend the
This is
rest
so
of his life
stupid.
behind bars in Florida. That's not justice. We have to mete out justice and send a message to these would-be killers that you are not going to live out
Extremists
your days
don't care
behind
about that.
bars.
Look at
You're gonna
DeSantis's
need
mouth.
justice in this system.
But does that mean Obamacare is here to stay?
We're going to execute
Right?
the 9/11
Does he
hijackers.
want
That'll deter them
Obamacare
from doing that
for
again.
No, they never do that. They're Saudi Arabian.
No one will ever fly an airplane into a building again after I let them know that I will kill them after they do it.
Actually has a plan to start to consolidate more power in Washington, D.C., consolidate more power in the executive branch. If I'm president of the United States, it's my intention to make the federal government smaller by returning to the states those resources and programs that are rightfully theirs under the 10th Amendment of the Constitution. That means all Obamacare funding, all housing funding, all HHS funding, all of it goes back to the states. We'll shut down the Federal Department of Education. We'll allow states to innovate. We're going to revive federalism in America, and states are going to help bring America back.
No, he never answered the Obamacare question.
Yeah.
Keep within the time frame so that we can get as many questions in as possible. This question for Governor DeSantis.
Mike.
Over 26 million Americans don't have insurance coverage. Governor DeSantis, 2.5 million of them are in your state. That's worse than the national average.
Oof.
Can Americans trust you on this?
Well, I think this is a symptom of our overall economic decline. Everything
No.
has gotten more expensive. You see insurance rates are going through the roof. People that are going to get groceries. I spoke with a woman in Iowa.
But why does,
No
why
healthcare
does your
tax.
state
Sorry.
suck
I'm having to
specifically?
take,
He's not answering the
things
question.
out of my grocery cart when I get to the checkout line because the total goes up so quickly. So this is very real, and people are hurting out there.
He's so
we've got to address
fake.
the underlying problem with Bidenomics, the overspending, taking all Biden's rules and regulations.
Talk about healthcare,
trash
dipshit.
can on day one. You're not going to have to worry about that. We're going to open up all of our energy. We will be energy dominant in this country. That will lower your gas prices.
No,
And what we
but the
need to do with
groceries are
healthcare is
high. But we're still
recognize
talking about
our
healthcare, and you haven't
healthcare is
answered a
putting
thing.
patients at the back of the bus.
I feel like the
We
smile
have
is
big
coming again. Wait
pharma,
for it.
Big insurance and big government.
I hope you're
and
wrong.
we need to tackle that.
Wait for
and
it.
have more power for the people
And then
the
we'll get
doctor-patient
scary-eyed.
relationship.
Governor, why is your record in
Oh,
denied. You were
Okay.
denied, Mike.
than the national average?
Our state's a dynamic state. We've got a lot of folks that come. Of course, we've had a population boom. We also don't have a lot of welfare benefits in Florida. You know, we're basically say this is a field of dreams. You can do well in the
So
state.
people fucking
but we're
die.
not going to be like California, have
Right.
massive
Field of
numbers
death.
of people on government programs without work requirements. We believe you work and you got to do that, and so that goes for all the welfare benefits. And you know what that's done, Stuart? Our unemployment rate is the lowest amongst any big state. We have the highest GDP growth amongst any big state, and even
Because if you lose your job, you're dead.
No fan of
Yeah.
mine ranked Florida the #1 economy in America.
There goes the smile.
yeah.
It was the delayed one.
Healthcare is the leading cause of bankruptcy for
Nobody
American
talked about
families,
healthcare.
accounting
She's the
for
best
2/3
moderator yet.
of all
And she's
federal
cute.
bankruptcies.
At least the
As
questions.
president,
Questions
how
have
you
been great.
protect
Yeah.
Americans who get sick from financial ruin.
First of all, how can we be the best country in the world and have the most expensive health care in the world? We have an issue. My mom was
Insurance
in the
companies,
hospital,
capitalism.
and when she was in the hospital, they tried to bring her a couple of Tylenol, and she said, I don't need it. And they said, honey, go ahead and take it because you're paying for it anyway. Why is it that when we got the bill, the insurance company and the hospital negotiated the bill for her without her having anything to do with it? When I am president, we will break all of it, from the insurance company to the hospitals to the
Well,
doctor's
no, you wouldn't,
offices to
because
the
you're
PBMs.
against.
This is amazing.
You're against
She's
that.
saying she's not. It's so weird.
You will realize that's what the problem is. Second thing is you
Public health care would solve all these problems, and these people have to dance around
Why
it.
don't they say
because
it?
they want to? It's because of the 90% chance they'll get sued. And then we need to bring competition back to healthcare, get rid of certificate of need systems, and make sure that they can compete. We have to put the patient in the driver's seat. They've been in the back seat for way too long. And once we give the patient the ability to decide their health care, deciding which plan they want, that is when we will see magic happen. But we're going to have to make every part of the industry open up and show us where
If
their
they
works
can't
are,
afford
because
it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
She's the only one that
matter.
at least answered a healthcare question.
Yeah, she
with
did stay on
healthcare.
topic.
Yeah.
Right.
It was on topic.
Well, yes, we're not talking about the real problem ever. We talk about why do we have the most expensive healthcare in the world? It's because the federal government got involved the same way they did with EVs, and they said we're going to subsidize a particular kind of software back in 2008.
It's the one place where
under
government
Obama,
doesn't get
and they
involved.
said,
What are you talking about?
He gives me
all of you that are watching have been to a doctor's office when the doctor's got his back
He
to
looks
you
like
and
a
their hands
Muppet.
on a keyboard. The only industry
His
in the world
eyebrows.
that's ever absorbed $1 trillion
It's like
of
he
IT
has
and
on a
became less
mask,
productive.
like-
They saw
Yeah,
that
there's
today
something going on there with
was
that
healthcare
chin of his.
because
Yeah.
they were subsidizing a certain kind of
The
technology.
makeup. He's not going to be in the third
It's
debate.
not. It's
It was
not
about
makeup.
picking winners and
There's
losers. Every time the
looks like
federal
there's been some
government's
sort
involved,
of
whether it's
plastic
higher education,
surgery going
healthcare,
on.
or now the
Botox?
auto industry, things get
Something.
more
I don't
Because
know
the skin
what.
is very smooth on the face, but when we get here,
Because we are going to move
What the hell? Was that an attempt at a smile at the end there?
education in America.
I don't know.
Botox, baby.
Role in finding a way forward. The second Republican debate rolls on.
Oh no, they're gonna talk about education. I'm so worried.
But the real question is, are they? It's like,
That's
has
true.
anyone
nobody
answered
answers.
anything?
They're going to
Yeah,
ask about
that's true.
education, and no one is going to answer it.
Yeah.
Like, they're
It's
just
either they don't answer the questions, but on top of that, also when they do acknowledge problems, it's like, yeah, the groceries are way too expensive.
And
Your
they
health care is way too much.
How are you gonna
and
fix it?
what are we gonna do about it? Absolutely fuck all.
Exactly. That's all that I heard. They are acknowledging, which is I'm surprised that they're acknowledging there's a problem in the healthcare system. It's overpriced. They're the what she said, the patients should be in the driver's seat. I don't know what she was talking about competition, but patients don't hear that. So what she's like you said, stop dancing around it and just talk about like something like a universal health care. What's your health care plan? The groceries are high.
They don't have
but
one.
Right. You ain't got one. Ron DeSantis, groceries is high. We don't need to hear about old girl, penny in the pan. We don't need these kind of stories. How are you going to help out Floridians? You went right to welfare talking about if you don't work, then you just die because we're not going to give you any help. We're all about making you get up by your bootstraps, but that has nothing to do with why groceries are so high. You can't go into Bidenomics, whatever they named it. It doesn't make any sense. How are you going to help that? First of all, you went into groceries and she asked you about healthcare. They have nothing for it. These are important topics that the people need to know. If you become the president of the United States, when it comes to healthcare, how will you assist us? When it comes to overspending, like you're saying, how do you plan on fixing that? These are the things that people need to hear, and they are not giving anybody a thing. Nothing.
Yeah. It's because their healthcare version was stolen from Obama. That was proposed by the Heritage Foundation. Mitt Romney implemented it. And so their plan was that was the capitalist solution. And it was insufficient, right?
Yeah,
it made some improvements, but it didn't do enough.
Yeah, Doug, what's his name? Burgum? Whatever the fuck his name is.
Doug
at
Burgum.
the end there. He was blaming government for being too involved in healthcare, and that's why costs are so high compared to other countries that have healthcare guaranteed by the government. Like it does.
If that's gonna be your opinion, you need to come out and say, government out of healthcare. I'm going to end Medicare. and Medicare's
And
president. I want to
Medicaid.
hear them say
Yeah,
that. And
right.
Medicaid. I want to hear them say that.
Scrap
Let's
it
hear
all.
them say that.
Veterans
They
care,
will.
Medicaid, yeah,
That you. Anyone who says that is signing a political death sentence.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with all those programs. They work. And then once they start working, people are like, I still want to live. This is great. You know, like, why would you want to turn that off? That's ridiculous.
They're just like little kids, the way they show up and talk about what they want to talk about, and they don't listen. No offense to little kids, but like, you know, they're asking them direct questions, and they're
My
just
2.5-year-old is very offended right now.
my bad. But they're just not.
Canceled.
There's no way they're going to answer any of the questions. I just wonder, can any of these guys realistically beat Joe Biden in like actual election?
They're not giving anything that's like
What do they
they're not
stand
giving
on?
any competition right now. They just it's like kids in the playground, like you said, just 2-year-olds. But it's just children in a playground, and they're choosing who to bully on stage and who to focus on. We're not getting anything that's actually going to help the people choose who the better leader could be. Right now, you guys are in competition with each other. You guys want the spot for presidency. You can't just keep on blaming Joe Biden. What does it look like if you become our leader, our president? How does that help us? How does that help our children that we may have during your time in office? Like, what does that look like when you get into office? That what will you fight for? Like, I mean, I don't hear anything.
No one there even has any charisma to hide the fact that they have no policy. Like it's one thing. It's someone there could potentially, you know, beat Biden if they had some charisma, and that's how a lot of presidents just end up winning. No one there is actually good at lying. So that's
Did you not catch the Donald Duck joke? Did you not hear that?
I was gonna say,
that's already gone viral.
I was impressed.
Drop the mic.
Yeah, he's like, you know, you're ducking, and you won't be called Donald Trump. We should call you Donald Duck. I'm embarrassed about that.
Yeah, that was
he
so
thinks that
sad.
that's gonna be a
He
viral.
workshopped that shit. You know he did.
Where they're like, oh, you know, he went after Donald Trump. He thinks that's gonna be like a headline. When in fact, people are gonna be like, that was like it didn't give what you thought it would give.
So
like
corny.
the focus was on healthcare, and you talking about Donald Trump. The focus is on immigration, and you're focused on Donald Trump. Get out of his camp,
China.
get out of his nuts, and focus on the people.
Yeah, it's like a bad dad joke.
Yeah.
Do better than that.
I was embarrassed. I was
You
like,
want to be president with those kind of jokes?
it doesn't work.
And yes, guys, viewers, the volume is max. See. Most people are not complaining, but some are complaining. But just so you all know. There you go.
To our questions, Governor Haley. American students, they are in academic trouble. They have lower scores in math and reading. There's chronic absenteeism.
Every one of these people need to just look at the camera for this question and say, "Oh, fuck them," because that's how they actually feel. Yeah.
This is the answer. But South Carolina, your home state, still has not enacted universal school choice, and even the current expansion won't be fully implemented until 2027.
No charter schools,
Parents
Nikki.
can't
That's
wait
bad.
4 years for a
Gotta
fix.
privatize.
So what would you do right now?
Well, and school choice isn't the only answer, but I'll tell you it's not out of a lack of trying that we didn't try and get school choice in South Carolina. What I'll tell you, first of all, is we have to acknowledge the fact that 67% of our 8th graders are not proficient in reading or math. Over 80% of our 8th graders aren't proficient in history or civics. And recently they came out and said our 12
With all the
and
money you put into
13-year-olds
teachers,
are
I'm
scoring
shocked.
at the lowest levels they've been scoring in reading and
They pay
math
them
in
nothing.
decades. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to make sure we catch our kids back up. We have to make sure they can read. A child that can't read by 3rd grade is 4 times less likely to graduate high school. We need to do reading remediation. We need complete transparency in the classroom. No parent should ever wonder what's being said or taught to their child in the classroom. We need to make sure that we have school choice so that there's competition. We need to move all the programs from the federal government down to the states and let states decide what education looks like in their states. And we need
They're
to start
already doing
building
that, and they're
things in
passing
America again.
kids.
Let's put
Yeah.
classes back in our high schools, and let's get our kids building the things that we know that we can make. When we start to focus on
That's an unfortunate freeze frame.
What the
and
hell?
really bring in that parental involvement, that's when we'll start to see a difference. But we've got to get parents back included. We've got to quit spending time on this DEI and CRT and instead focus on financial literacy, on digital literacy, and on making sure that our kids know what they need to do to have the jobs of the next generation.
They have to know about.
On the subject of education, a question for Governor Christie. Students in your state are getting high marks on their report cards. But minorities are not doing well with math and reading. Black and Hispanic students averaging 29 points lower than white students in New Jersey. Would you address minorities first?
You have to address all students. And look, in our state,
All students matter.
Frankly, before I was governor, that gap was close to 50%.
That was what he just did.
What we did was institute more charter schools and more Renaissance schools and more public school choice in New Jersey with innovative solutions in cities like Camden, where now we took what was the worst school district in America during my time, and we have now increased that by nearly 40% in terms of their proficiency.
Wait, what? Did he just say the school sucked when he was governor and now it's doing great?
This public school system is no longer run by the public. It is run by the teachers' unions in this country. Randy Weingarten and her crew are absolutely strangling. They are taking the worst of
Randy Weingarten and her crew. What is this, like the Jets and the Giants? Just like Randy Weingarten and teachers coming down the alley.
There is no chance.
I feel like he's got another singer.
Hold away from the teachers union every day. They have an advocate inside the White House every day for the worst of their teachers, not for our students to be the best they can be. A president of the United States has to take on the teachers union. I did it in New Jersey, and I will do it as president of the United States.
Governor DeSantis, I have a question for you. Governor DeSantis, I have a question for you.
Are you guys having trouble seeing me?
Florida's new Black History curriculum says
Who said that?
Tim Scott.
Some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. You have said slaves develop skills in spite of slavery, not because of it.
Thank you. I'm so happy they're asking this to his face.
For descendants of slaves, this is personal. What is your message to them?
So first of all, that's a hoax that was perpetrated by Kamala Harris.
No, it is not.
No, it wasn't. Said that.
That was written by descendants of slaves. These are great Black history scholars, so we need to stop playing these games. Here's the deal. Our country's education system is in decline because it's focused on indoctrination, denying parents' rights. Florida represents the revival of American education. We're ranked number one in the nation in education by U.S. News and World Report.
By PragerU?
This is personal to us. We didn't just talk about universal school choice. We enacted universal school choice. We didn't just talk about Parents' Bill of Rights. We enacted the Parents' Bill of Rights. We eliminated critical race theory, and we now have American civics and the Constitution in our schools in a really big way, just like President Reagan asked for in his farewell address back in 1989. Florida is showing how it's done. We're standing with parents, and our kids are benefiting.
Senator Scott, you oppose to these new standards. What is your message for Governor DeSantis?
There is not a redeeming quality in slavery. He and Kamala should have just taken the one sentence out. America has suffered because of slavery, but we've overcome that. We are the greatest nation on earth because we faced our demons
Shucking and
in the
jiving
mirror
to the people.
and made a decision. So often we think that all the issues, you talked about crime and education and healthcare, we always think that those issues go back to slavery. Here's the challenge though. Black families survived slavery. We survived poll taxes and literacy tests. We survived discrimination being woven into the laws of our country.
It's over, apparently.
To survive was Johnson's Great Society, where they decided
The system definitely does not agree with what he's saying. Everything was created
to take the black father out of the household to get a check in the mail, and you can now measure that in unemployment, in crime, in devastation. If you want to restore hope, you've got to restore the family, restore capitalism, and put Americans
Where did
back at
capitalism
work
go?
together as one American family.
Is he supposed to represent the South?
To go in the right
know.
direction. It's why I can say I have been discriminated against, but America is not a racist country. Never, ever doubt who we are.
I've been racist. I've been discriminated against. They call me ER, but America ain't racist.
Needs a brand new leader, and I'm asking for your vote.
The debate literally asked him if he's been bought and sold, particularly him.
Over 10.7 million students in over 18,000 public schools nationwide have the ability to change their identity without parental notification.
Here we go.
Governor Christie told Stewart last week that he would pass a federal law to protect
They actually haven't
rights.
talked about
Would you try
LGBTQ
to
plus
do the
people at
same?
all yet, so.
Yeah.
I have to be very clear about this. Transgenderism, especially in kids, is a mental health disorder. We have to acknowledge the truth of that for what it is. I met
Going
two
around
young women
DeSantis
early
out
in
of
this
the gates.
campaign.
On parental rights in schools.
Parents have the right to know. And you know what the hypocrisy of this is? Even New Hampshire failed to actually get past a piece of legislation here. The very people who say that this increases the risk of suicide are also the ones saying that parents don't have the right to know about that increased risk of suicide. And I'm sorry, it is
It's
not
because of people like you. That's the reason why. That's what all the
This
studies
shit
and
is
science
so
and
hard to
data
listen
show.
to, like,
yeah.
This is
Chloe and
cringe.
Katie, early
It's
in
so
this
fucking
campaign,
disgusting.
Outright
who are in their
fucking,
20s,
far-right
now
rhetoric.
regret getting double mastectomies and a hysterectomy. One of them will
What?
never have children. And the fact that we allowed that to happen in this
Education.
country is barbaric. So I will ban genital mutilation or chemical castration.
Every major medical association in the U.S. disagrees with you.
Absolutely
Would you
the
try to
right.
pass a federal law that says parents should have that right?
We are going to require states absolutely have to
Then I
follow
wanna
that through.
ask Governor
We
Burgum just to
stand
follow
for
up on this
parental rights.
because
Yes.
you in your state you do not have a law that says
What a
parents can be
freak.
notified, but you want to be president. Would you try
Vivek.
to pass a federal law to say parents have that right?
I think this is a state's issue, but I do want to say something because all night long we've been talking about issues about how it's broken in Washington, and I respect all of the people on the stage here for their 100+ years of public service. Thank
always
you. But the reason why we're not
left
talking
the
about
center.
education or healthcare or safety being a problem in North Dakota is because we have a business leader. I've got more experience as a business
Nobody
leader
lives there.
than I think this whole group combined. I know I've created more jobs than everybody else on stage, thousands of high-paying jobs that have real meaning. So as a business leader, you come in and you treat the taxpayer like a customer. So in North Dakota, instead of fighting with the teachers' unions, we actually created a K-12 coordinating council. Everybody gets in the room and the customer is
But
the
you
student.
do understand that this is an issue that many people in America really are concerned about, worried about parents and notification in schools.
This is a manufactured issue, thanks to Fox
Platforms of
News.
debate. That's why we have states. There are certain things the federal government is supposed to do. It's not the Department of Education. That needs to be assembled. We got to move it back to states. Do what we did in North Dakota. Instead of like, oh, here's a choice school and here's an old school, the old way with the teachers union, the kids are trapped. We made every school in North Dakota an innovation school. Every school got out from under the red tape, and the things that help teach the values that we're trying to get, like 4-H, like FFA, like Boy Scouts, they can get credit for all of that stuff in North Dakota. And by the way, North Dakota is now at the top of the median SAT scores in the country right now.
Vice President Pence, the Department of Homeland Security warns that violence against LGBTQ plus people is on the rise and intensifying. According to a recent study,
So many good
members
questions.
of that community are 9 times more likely to be victims of violent hate crimes. As president, how would you protect this community from violent attacks
I
and
would not.
discrimination?
Yeah.
As President of the United States,
This
I'll-
dude with all his HIV
I'll stand up for
hysteria,
the
are you
safety,
kidding me?
And the civil liberties of every American, from every background. And I want the American people to know that.
What about civil rights?
But I want to answer the
That's the
question,
question.
Dana, that you
I don't
just
want to talk
asked
about
before.
this because my answer is that
Yeah.
gay conversion therapy. No more gays. No more harassment
Yeah.
against gays.
Situation.
Yeah.
My wife isn't a member of the teachers union, but I got to admit, I've been sleeping with a teacher for 38 years.
What?
And,
Why would he say it like
look,
that?
education is a
Yeah. What?
I've been fucking a teacher.
school choice programs in the country. When I was governor of the state
That
of
was
Indiana,
so weird.
See her in the
I
audience?
don't think that's what he meant to
I'm
say.
hitting that.
Let's be very, very clear.
He got,
Listen,
they
she
got
bends me over the desk and takes a ruler. And let me tell you.
A policy where you had to have a permission slip from your parents to get a Tylenol, but you could get a gender transition plan without notifying your parents.
Stop. That's not what happened.
But that's not
Not
true.
at
And
all.
secondly,
What?
see, he's
You have to go
comparing
through
it to his
so many
1990
barriers
his
and so many
1932 days
doctors.
in elementary school.
On transgender, chemical, or surgical surgery anywhere in the country. We've got to protect.
What about
our kids
circumcision?
from this radical gender
surgeries on
ideology
intersex
agenda.
babies?
And we've got to empower parents.
I doubt he knows what
at
that
the
is.
state level.
Yeah.
With the ability to choose where their kids go to school, whether it's public, private, parochial, or homeschool. You empower parents, and our schools will straighten up and reflect our values.
Straighten
Oh my
up.
God.
On the basics.
Literally
faster than
straighten
you could
up.
Possibly imagine.
Yeah.
Next subject.
This is why we talk over these people. It's better.
Yeah.
It's better than listening to them.
I mean, especially when they're going into fucking fascism. Like, fuck
Yeah, it's just like, it's enough.
China is investing heavily in their tech companies.
here we
$280
go.
billion every year on
Thank God we
semiconductor
moved on from
research and
LGBTQ
development.
issues. It's just
That is one CHIPS Act per year.
Vivek was so bad.
Governor DeSantis,
Yeah.
you say
fascist.
companies like Google and Meta have too much power. Doesn't going after them give China an edge?
No, I think you look at how our societies develop, they have huge amount of power over our society. They've cracked down on free speech. We're not saying you don't want them to do business, but you want it
You
to
have
be a
too.
free market. And right now they're monopolies. But this issue of China, I think, is really going to be fundamental. We have subcontracted out so much of our national needs to the CCP. We rely on them for a whole host of issues. We need to reshore and we need to decouple all those important industries. We need to get that back in the United States. They are our top geopolitical adversary by a country mile. Xi Jinping's got huge ambitions, not only in the Asia Pacific, but as you mentioned earlier, in our region. But ultimately, we've got to beat him on the economy. And so that's what we'll do as President of the United States.
Governor Christie, I wanted to follow up on this because 22% of American workers fear their jobs will be lost to a robot. And you said in the past that the free market is the way to go. Would you retrain workers who lose a job to artificial intelligence, and to do what?
Well, look, what I think artificial intelligence offers us is an extraordinary opportunity to expand well beyond the productivity that we have now, and to have Americans be able to be involved in that revolution, Dana. You know, each time we have shown incredible innovation and progress in this country. What we've done with it is to expand all kinds of new, even unthought of opportunities for folks. Yes, we have to do retraining for folks who lose some of their jobs, and we should be doing that. And we should have more training available both at the county college level and the local level for people to be able to access it. So yes, I would be in favor of that. But this is a much bigger issue than that. We can't be afraid of innovation. America has been the great innovator of this world over the last 250 years, a technological innovator, a manufacturing innovator, and a freedom and governmental innovator. And that's why America has to continue to stand strong in the world, pro-innovation, pro-progress. And I will tell you this, as President of the United States, what I will do is to make sure that every innovator in this country gets the government the hell off its back and out of its pocket so that it can innovate and bring great new inventions to our country that will make everybody's lives better.
Mr. Ramaswamy, TikTok is banned on government-issued devices because of its ties to the Chinese government. Yet you joined TikTok after dinner with boxer and influencer Jake Paul.
An alleged rapist.
Chief be so easily persuaded by an influencer?
So the answer is I have a radical idea for the Republican Party. We need to win elections. And part of how we win elections is reaching the next generation of young Americans.
And telling them they can't fucking vote.
Should not be
That's so true.
We're only going to ever get to declaring independence from China, which I favor, if we actually win. So while the Democrats are running rampant, reaching the next generation.
Someone should bring that up.
There's exactly one person in the Republican Party which talks a big game about reaching young people, and that's me. And let me level with all of you. I'm the new guy here, and so I know I have to earn your trust. What do you see? You see a young man who's in a bit of a hurry.
Oh, my God.
Maybe a little ambitious. Bit of a know-it-all, it seems at times. I'm here to tell you, no, I don't know it all. I will listen. I will have the
He also
best
looks like
people,
Butthead
the
from
best and
Beavis and
brightest
Butthead.
in this country, whatever age they
That's what a super chat said. Credit to
advising
them.
me. We will be probably many of the people on this stage included. That's how I built my companies. I want to be challenged. I want people who disagree with me. That's what makes America great, because we're not a perfect nation. We're founded on the pursuit of perfection. That is what makes America
Someone yelling in the background?
Mike Pence is yelling at him, yeah.
That's why we will end it once we win this election.
I have to jump. I have to jump in here. I'm sorry. I have.
Doug.
There's one person on this.
This is infuriating because TikTok is one of the most dangerous social media apps that we could have. And what you've got, I honestly, every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber for what you say.
God damn.
Burn.
Here you've got a TikTok situation, what they're
There
doing
goes that
is
Donald
these
Duck comment.
150 million people are on TikTok. That means they can get your contacts, they can get your financial information, they can get your emails, they can
Let me
get
just say,
text messages, they can get all of
this
these
is important.
things.
This is
China
very important
knows
for our party.
exactly what they're
This
doing.
is very important
and
for our
what
party,
we've
and I'm
seen
going to
is
say
you've gone and you've helped China make medicines in China, not America.
Excuse me.
No, you let her
To go and
speak.
get on the social media that's dangerous for all of us. You went and you were in business with the Chinese that gave Hunter Biden $5 million.
Oh.
We can't trust you. We
Kind of
can't
crushing it right now.
Yeah.
I think that we
Oh shit!
Mr. Ramaswamy, you have 15 seconds.
I think, excuse me.
You have 15 seconds, Mr. Ramaswamy.
Thank you. I think we would be better served as a Republican Party if we're not sitting here hurling personal insults and actually have a legitimate debate about policy following Reagan's 11th Commandment in his honor. And the answer is that is what actually makes our country strong. And I believe in these people. These are good people on the stage. They disagree.
This is all over TikTok.
Disagree. That's what I would say.
Isn't it inspiring to see two, Indian Americans reach this stage where they can talk about pulling up the ladder to everyone who's coming up behind them after their immigrant parents came to this country? It's amazing.
With the U.S. and
It's
seeks to
inspiring.
work with China to force our decline. President Reagan believed that if you want to prevent a war, you
What is
better
that? What
be
is your
Face
making?
doing? Yeah. What's
Today,
happening?
the Republican Party is
Bubble
at odds
heading.
over aid to Ukraine.
This is still
The
filming.
price
Look at
tag
his
so far
mouth.
is $76
He's
billion.
He's
grinding
like grinding
his
his teeth. Yeah.
He
Is
does
it
that
in the
often.
best interest
Yeah.
to
Yeah, he does.
degrade Russia's military for less than 5% of what we pay annually on defense, especially when there are no U.S. soldiers in the fight?
It's in our interest to end this war, and that's what I will do as president. We are not going to have a blank check. We will not have U.S. troops, and we're going to make the Europeans do what they need to do. But they've sent money to pay bureaucrats' pensions and salaries and funding small businesses halfway around the world. Meanwhile, our own country is being invaded. We don't even have control of our own territory. We have got to defend the American people before we even worry about all these other things. And I watch these guys in Washington, D.C., and they don't care about the American people. They don't care about the fentanyl deaths. They don't care about the communities being overrun because of this border. They don't care about the Mexican drug cartels. So as Commander-in-Chief, I will defend this country's sovereignty.
But it's not a territorial
He does not want to have to talk.
It's never been a territorial dispute.
He's so
90%
entitled.
of the resources that we send over to Ukraine is guaranteed. It's a loan. It is not 90% of the money that we send over there is loan. Well, we can talk about this, but at the end of the day, 90% of the money that we send over there is actually in the form of a loan. It's not actually not paid by Ukraine. It's paid by the NATO, our NATO allies.
So I think it's a good
Number
topic.
two. I think it's a really good topic too. But I will say let's debate the fact that
Why is he jumping in?
our national vital interest is in degrading the Russian military. By degrading the Russian military, we actually keep our homeland safer, we keep our troops at home, and we all understand Article 5 of NATO.
We have to level with the American people.
I thought you said something about waiting until your turn to talk.
Okay.
So at the end of the day,
There you go.
I'll be happy to debate
ahead,
this.
and I'll respond.
I'll look forward to this one right now. So at the end of the day, when you think about the fact that if you want to keep American troops at home, attack on NATO territory would bring us and our troops in. By degrading the Russian military, we reduce, if not eliminate, an attack on.
We didn't get an answer. Just
We have to
go.
level with the American people. We have to level with the American people on this issue. The reality is just because Putin is Putin's an evil dictator does not mean that Ukraine is good. This is a country that has banned 11 opposition parties.
A win
that has
for
actually,
Russia is a
that
win
is not
for
true.
China.
We're driving
a win
Russia.
For Russia
excuse
is a
me.
win for
Excuse me. If you have
but
a chance,
I forgot you like
you'll
China.
have,
That's
no,
why you're
you'll
okay.
have your chance.
Damn.
It's getting spicy
China is
with
the real
the.
enemy, and we're driving Russia further into China's arms. We need a reasonable peace plan to end this, especially this is a country whose president just last week
Vivek,
was
if
hailing
you
a
let
Nazi in
Putin
his own
have
ranks.
Ukraine, that's a green light to China to take Taiwan.
We need a
Peace
reasonable
comes
plan
through
to
strength.
We need a reasonable plan to peace.
Governor Christie.
The Communist Party of China is
What a mess this whole thing is.
Governor Christie.
They sound-
President Biden's first 2 years have brought China, Russia, and Iran closer together. Are we focused too much on Ukraine and not enough on this threat from the New World Order?
No, they're all connected, Stuart. They're all connected.
Hulk Hogan,
The
Kevin
Chinese
Nash,
are
Scott
paying
Hall,
for the Russian
X-Pac.
war in Ukraine. The
The
Iranians
New World
are
Order is
supplying
coming
more
in strong.
sophisticated
They've been around for
weapons.
years.
So are the North Koreans now as well.
For life.
With the encouragement of the Chinese. The naivete on this stage from some of these folks is extraordinary. Look, I understand people want to go and talk to Putin. Guess what? So did George W. Bush. So did Barack Obama. So did Donald Trump. And so did Joe Biden when he said a small invasion wouldn't be so bad. Every one of them has been wrong. And the fact of the matter is, we need to say right now that the Chinese-Russian alliance is something we have to fight against, and we are not going to solve it by going over and cuddling up to Vladimir Putin. Look, Donald Trump said Vladimir Putin was brilliant and a great leader. This is the person who is murdering people in his own country, and now not having enough blood, he's now going to Ukraine to murder innocent civilians and kidnap 20,000 children. And let me tell you, if you think that's where it's going to stop, if we give him any of Ukraine, next will be Poland. This is a guy who said, wait one sec, this is a guy in 1991 who said that was the darkest moment in world history when the Soviet Union fell. Listen, everybody, he wants to put the old band back together, and only America can stop it. And when I'm president, we will.
Governor Burgum, I want to get to Governor Burgum. He hasn't had a chance.
He wants to put the old band back there. What, are you resurrecting Stalin? Or is he bringing back Bolsheviks? Like what?
Oh, Lenin rises.
Farmers, because there is a foreign policy connection here. The U.S. and China are in this fierce economic competition. It's hurting American businesses, and there is blowback against American farmers because China then targets them in retaliation. How would you, as president, protect American farmers and ranchers from that kind of retaliation from a foreign government like China?
Well, first of all, we've got the best farmers and ranchers in the world right here in America. If they have a level playing field, they can outcompete anyone in the world. But this is part of the larger issue that we're talking about here, which is we're in a Cold War with China. The Biden administration won't admit that. But we're also in an economic war through what we're doing with agriculture and energy. And we're also in a war with them relative to cyber war. We get attacked every day in North Dakota, every state, every school district, our tribes, all being attacked every day by either China, Russia, Iran, or North Korea. And now we've got a Biden administration whose whole policy is appeasement. They're out there, creating the world, making it less safe. $6 billion they traded for 5 people. They've just now set a price on anyone's head who's a tourist from America, who's a student from America, for kidnapping. If you want more kidnapping, put a price on it. And then they're also helping Iran get to have more closer to nuclear weapons, which pushes
I'm like
all
tuning
of the
out.
Middle East closer to China and Russia.
Yeah.
The crowd on this has been dead too.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
yeah, they have.
I'm not even seeing that many people talk about it online, like they did the first debate.
Less successful
because they knew what to expect. If they were going to get what they got in the first debate, then they're like,
China imports 10 million barrels of
I
oil
hate
a
all
day.
that clapping
They're
they
the
do,
largest
though.
import in the
I
world.
think that
We've had
sounds so
4 cabinet
fake.
members from
Yeah.
the Biden administration there this summer, and none of them
like
talked about
90s
U.S. energy. The
sitcom.
first one to
Yeah,
go
exactly.
Just
There
like
it
that.
is.
climate policy, which is making the world less stable. It's empowering dictators. It's not about climate change that we need worried about. It's about the Biden climate policies that are actually the existential threat
Shut
to America's
up.
future.
Can I speak about
Okay. Is he done now? Jesus Christ.
Mexico's president
He needs to just
who supports
stop.
sending U.S. military into the country.
I refuse to believe that guy somehow makes the debate stage through.
There's no way.
I know there was.
Y'all said he paid for his
and border
spot.
security. You say you will send special operations to attack the cartels in Mexico. So, this means boots on the ground, drone strikes.
It means special operations. It's how we deal with our terrorists.
Ah,
And what
yes.
you need to do is understand that Mexico's not being a good partner if we lost 75,000 Americans last year. Mexico's not
So you
being
can
a
do
good
military
partner if
operations
they're
in the
letting
country,
cartels
in a
get away
sovereign
with what they're
fucking
getting
country.
away with. What we will
So
do is
American.
we will make sure that we send in our special operations and
There's
we will
so
take
much more
out
than just
the
the
cartels, we'll
Mexican
take out their
cartel, like-
operations, we'll take out anything that's doing it. But we're going to go after China because China is the one
Militarily,
sending the fentanyl in
or
the
'cause I'm
first
not sure at
place.
this point.
And we will end all all normal trade relations until China stops sending fentanyl. And then we'll do the special
Good luck with
operations
that.
and we'll get it
So
from both
China
sides.
stopped sending
This is where
fentanyl.
President Trump went wrong.
Everyone's sending the
He
fentanyl.
focused on
Fentanyl from
trade
the
with
left,
China.
from
He
the
didn't
right, from the
focus on
bottom, from the
fact
top.
that
Not
they
here
were
all over the
though.
place.
America is
He
not
didn't focus
because
on
they
the fact
don't
that they
abuse
were
fentanyl.
killing
It's everybody
Americans.
else
He didn't
that
focus
brings
on
it
the
here.
fact that they were stealing $600 billion in intellectual property. He didn't focus on the fact that they put a spy base off our shores in Cuba. They didn't focus enough on the fact that all of our law enforcement drones in America are Chinese, and we've got all these little surveillance cells. We need to start focusing on what keeps Americans safe.
And surveillance
that hasn't
then.
happened in a long time.
Yeah.
As your president, I will make sure every American is safe, and we'll do whatever it takes to make that happen.
All right. I want to get to Senator Scott. You're all auditioning for the job as President of the United States. You want to earn these votes. But the world's problems land in the Oval Office. During the presidential debates in the year 2000, neither Al Gore nor George W. Bush was asked about Al-Qaeda. Yet, just 1 year later, Al-Qaeda's attack on September 11th claimed nearly 3,000 lives. And the farther we get from September 11th, the closer we are to September 10th. Senator Scott, you have no executive branch experience. What has prepared you to protect the nation from a major man-made national security crisis?
Well, one of the things I've had the good fortune of doing is serving on committees in the United States Senate, like the Senate Armed Services Committee. I'm on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, also on the Finance Committee and the Banking Committee. Talk about addressing the issue of fentanyl. I've written the legislation, passed it through the Banking Committee and the Senate that would freeze the assets and sanction the accounts of the Mexican cartels. There are weapons that we have within the arsenal that I was able to get past 23-0 in the polarizing Senate as it is. I've also understood without question the fact that if you look at the details before 9/11, there was information and intelligence that was available that suggested an attack was coming. Having the right intelligence partners with us is key to making sure that we prevent the next 9/11 from ever happening. Having that experience for the last 10 years is really important in getting the job done.
30 seconds to you, Mr. Pence.
Well, I think you asked a question about executive experience. I think it's vitally important. And I stand before you today as a candidate for president because I think this country's in a lot of trouble. And you hear the fire on the stage tonight.
He's so overly dramatic. I can't understand it. Jesus Christ.
Country at home.
So
and
fake.
abroad. This is a time for those of us
I wish
that
I had
have the
music on the soundboard.
experience, the tested experience, and a commitment to the conservative agenda that Ronald Reagan brought forward in this party of a strong national defense, standing with our allies, standing up to our enemies, supporting limited government and traditional
amnesty.
values, need to
Never
step
mind.
forward.
Understood.
Because frankly, our party does face a time for choosing, as they said at the top of this debate, whether we're going to stand on the foundation of that conservative agenda that Ronald Reagan poured, or whether we're going to follow the siren song of populism unmoored to conservative principles. I'm the most experienced, most qualified, and most consistent conservative in this field, and I'm ready to lead America at home and abroad on day one.
Time for choosing to go to a break. Ilya.
We need to go to a commercial break where Reagan built a coalition that lasted decades. Can any of these candidates do the same? We'll take that up when the debate continues.
No. The answer is no.
So I read that Perino, the blonde moderator, was George W. Bush's 26th press secretary.
Yes.
Doesn't 26 seem high? Like, I know he served 2 terms, but how many do they have on average? Like 2 or 3, right?
That's a
26,
lot of
really?
secretaries. I didn't know that.
What?
Well, I read it. I mean, who knows if it's true, but I read it today and I was like, that's shocking.
That doesn't sound right. It's like
right?
one a month or something? Like what?
I'll check it. I'll check it now.
It's crazy.
7.
7. Oh, okay.
Okay,
What's
so she was 6.
Was she 26? Maybe she was 26 years old.
I wouldn't be surprised.
She was the
Yeah, I think she was
26th,
young,
I
yeah.
believe, in total, like of all press secretaries, I want to say.
Okay.
Is an American
ever?
political commentator and author who was the 26th White House press secretary under George W. Bush. So she was just the.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I had to.
The way it's written,
to run
though, it
that by
sounds
you
like
guys.
it's like the 26th
Right.
for
It's a
him.
little bit confusing, yeah, because that'd be a higher turnover rate than Donald Trump's administration, which would be quite the feat.
Yeah.
Yeah, this debate is very, very bad. It's I don't think that any of them are even close to matching Trump.
I thought the other one was wrong.
Oh,
it's
is
4, sorry. There was 4
Oh.
press secretaries.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. But I mean, like,
That sounds right.
none of them are going to pass Trump. This is also pointless. And I think that it is
really
smart.
Is
oh,
yeah, it's smart for Christie to try to goad
Why are
Trump
we
into
here?
these
Why do we do
debates. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all such a waste of time, so useless. Only 3,400 people are watching. Nobody cares. We should just go home.
Last time was like
I mean, we are
20,000.
home.
That shows you the drop off. How people are just like they watch the first time because they're curious like what the hell's going to go on, and then they saw, oh yeah, it's this shit again, and then they
I've
just
seen
didn't come
enough.
back.
Yeah,
It's not interesting. It's not. They know what to expect. No one's going to answer questions directly. It's people are going to argue with each other. We know. I'm surprised Vivek didn't get more. He wasn't as hot as he was in the first debate. With his punchlines and his obsession with talking points from Twitter or X child. But I'm surprised he didn't come out with that. But just seeing how like everyone is on the same wavelength, except for Haley, who's answering questions as they're being asked. Now,
The education questions for sure. Like I was like, oh, she's actually giving real stats. A lot of this is actually accurate. Yeah.
And even with that, when they were speaking education, what they wanted all of them wanted to bring up parenting. And then how does that go into kids being transgender or what? They really were going left field, and this is what we see them do on a regular. Republicans, what we see them do. Kids is dying, getting shot up. They don't want to talk about that. They'll go to LGBTQIA, drag queens, all that stuff, how that is an issue. Not how the state itself is. Like in Georgia, there's a TikTok that's going viral about the kids not being, not getting passed up at like lower levels, but they're still, the state is telling them to pass them anyway. And it's the state also. I blame parents too, but the state, the laws are allowing you guys to put kids that don't even have basic functioning skills and to go, like, they're in 3rd grade, but they're in like kindergarten stage. They're in like, they're seniors and they're on 6th grade reading levels, but the state is telling you to go ahead and pass them. That's problematic. So if our leaders are not giving the correct answers and trying to figure out where they're going to put the blame, except for on how these states have now passed laws where you can't even, if a kid is acting out in class, you can't even tell them a thing about how they're, you can't even reprimand them. They're telling you can't do that. They're going to have to pass bad behavior and dumb. And
We've got a lot more issues to cover and a lot more questions to go. So let's dive right back in. We're here in California, where gas is nearing $6 a gallon. Oil is close to $100 a barrel again. You say, drill, baby, drill. But the courts won't let you. Mr. Ramaswamy, how would you bring down prices without immediate drilling?
Well, look, I think that we do have to run through the courts and get through that administrative state to make sure we're using the natural resources here at home. But here's the other thing that we can do that's easy.
Forever, Mr. Ramaswamy.
And it addresses the national debt as well as brings down prices. Put people back to work. We are using taxpayer money to pay people more to stay at home than to go to work.
Oh, welfare recipients. That'll solve the energy crisis. Welfare recipients.
Wow.
Eating fudge rounds. I heard
maybe wages are too low. Is that maybe the problem there?
In its place. This is an agency that has gone rogue. So in January 2026, when I have the opportunity as your next commander-in-chief, we will have a new chairman of the Federal Reserve who places priority on dollar stability. And then most importantly, send packing 75% of the administrative state, reduce the federal employee headcount by 75%, rescind 50% of unconstitutional federal regulations that are shackling businesses both large and small. I've offered a very clear, practical plan to do it. That's how we unleash the economy. That's how we revive the integrity of a 3-branch constitutional republic rather than this technocracy and aristocracy in the administrative state.
I think one of the signature accomplishments of our administration was in just a few short years, we achieved energy independence. We became a net exporter of energy for the first time in 75 years. But on day one, Joe Biden declared a war on energy, which was no surprise because when Joe Biden ran for president, he said he was going to end fossil fuels. And they've been working overtime to do that ever since. If I'm president of the United States, we're going to open up federal lands. We're going to unleash American energy. We're going to have an all-of-the-above energy strategy. And I have a plan that actually would not only reclaim energy independence, but in 2006, America lost our position as the leading energy producer on Earth. I believe in the next 10 years, with the right policies and an experienced leadership in the White House, we can reclaim our role as the leading energy producer on Earth, and that'll grow the American economy for generations to come.
Governor Haley, reaction to that, please.
As the only person who's leading an energy state, could I answer the energy question?
No, Governor Haley.
So, you know, the first thing I'll say is what I saw at the United Nations is energy security is national security. We need a president that understands we have to partner with our producers and make sure that we have their backs. What you don't need is a president who is against energy independence. Ron DeSantis is against
this
fracking.
bullshit about
He's
energy
against
independence.
drilling.
How about you actually own? How about you own the oil? How about that? There's a plan. Like, these corporations don't give a fuck. It's just this idea that this is like
fracking, you
independence is absurd.
Look at his face.
You did it on federal lands, and you took green subsidies that you didn't have to take.
Governor DeSantis, you were mentioned. You have the right to respond. 30 seconds.
Yeah. I just did a plan out in West Texas for American energy dominance. We're going to choose Midland over Moscow. We're going to choose the Marcellus over the Mullahs, and we're going to choose Bakken over Beijing, and we are going to lower your gas prices. We are going to get that job done because it's important for our national security, it's important for jobs, and that's one of the best ways to drive down inflation.
Governor DeSantis, Governor DeSantis, this question is for you.
Our voters enacted a constitutional amendment
banned it before
that
they
doesn't
voted.
allow. No, it's not true.
You banned it before they voted,
Nikki,
and not only that, fracking wasn't. They didn't vote on
fracking. She's totally wrong. They voted it in. That's what we did. Onshore, we do it in Florida. We don't have as much as maybe West Texas, but we do it. But that was the Constitution. So that's just wrong. And let's just get real here. My plan will get the job done. We are going to be energy dominant, and that's what's going to happen.
Haley's on the offensive.
Yeah, she's probably having the best night, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so too.
Governor, excuse me, we cannot talk over each other. We must respect each other's time.
That's all you've done.
Apologies for that.
This guy.
Governor DeSantis, this is your
The
question.
British way.
The Biden administration is hell-bent on student loan forgiveness, but you say colleges should be on the hook when graduates cannot pay their debt. How does that address the cost of college? The cost of college itself?
Because the
It
colleges
doesn't.
are going to have to make a decision. Do we expand the gender studies department, knowing some of
Oh,
those
shut
graduates
the
may not
fuck
have
up.
great learning opportunities? No, they're going to focus on the things that really matter. They're going to make different choices. They're going to try to graduate people in 4 years. I also just want to come back to something Dana asked last segment about 9/11, because I was just at the 9/11 memorial with the families. My wife and I were invited. It's very touching to be there, and it affected my life because I ended up joining the military as a result of that.
And he tortured
I've been a
people.
blue-collar kid,
Yeah.
minimum
To be the
wage
torture
in
whisperer.
Florida.
Yep.
I end up getting through Yale and Harvard Law School and somehow came out more conservative than when I went in, and that is not easy to do. Had a lot of opportunities to make
At
money,
Ivy
but I
Leagues?
wanted to serve, and I'll never forget coming
Harvard?
back on the plane from Iraq, landing in Coronado, California, North Island, and feeling that breeze off the Pacific Ocean and say, you know what? I am lucky to have been born in America.
The stories.
And I think being able to serve, and I'll be the first president elected since 1988 who's actually served overseas in a war. I think that's going to help me as commander-in-chief to know how you see these issues and understand that there are real lives at stake for people that wear the uniform.
And we know that Governor Haley's husband is serving right now as well, and we thank him for that. Senator Scott, the national debt has nearly doubled in your time in office. The approval rate for Congress is at a mere 19%. If this were a business,
Not a mirror.
you'd probably all be fired in Washington, but you're here tonight looking for a promotion. In 2013, Governor Haley hired you for the Senate. I'd like you to tell her why you should be promoted to CEO of the nation instead of her.
Certainly. One of the things I'd say is if you look at our national debt of $33 trillion, I would love to have an opportunity to have this country pass a balanced budget amendment. That would constrain the spending in Washington in the same fashion that it does in every state in our nation, number one. Number two, If you want to actually reduce our national debt, you have to grow our economy. In order to grow our economy, you need to create about 10 million jobs to grow our economy at 5%. You can do that in 3 specific sectors. Number one, the energy sector. We could create between 3 and 3.5 million jobs if we unleashed all of our energy resources. America is we're the richest country if you combine coal, gas, and oil. Why not unleash all of our resources? Number 2, we've lost 100,000 factories. 100,000 factories in the last 25 years. If we continued on my Made in America plan, we could bring jobs back to America in a similar fashion that we did when I wrote the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. We actually lowered the corporate tax from 35% to 21%, reshored or repatriated $1.7 trillion. We brought the unemployment rates for African Americans, Hispanics, and Asians.
You know, once he said African Americans, there was coming a ding, ding, ding.
Governor Haley, would you think you would deserve the promotion?
I think, look, I appreciate Tim. We've known each other a long time, but he's been there 12 years and he hasn't done any of that. He hasn't only given 4 budgets on time and 40
Love you, mean it, but
he increased the national debt. He voted for the spending. He has made sure that the borders are open and they haven't done anything. Look at everything that's happened. 12 years. Where have you been? Where have you been, Tim?
I voted on most of those things.
We've waited and nothing has happened.
Here's what you've done.
Here's the thing that I just find interesting.
Oh, now he's being dragged.
I appreciate a lot of the things they're saying. I'm the only one up here who's gotten in the big fights and has delivered big victories for the people of Florida. And that's what it's
by
destroying wokeness.
The cost of housing rose the most in Florida than any other state. It's doing a fantastic job there. Amazing.
Most people losing health insurance in the nation.
Be able to do all those things, and in the state of Florida,
what a great state.
Because of our success, the Democratic Party lies in ruins. We have won the big fights. We have turned our state into a Republican state. People respond to leadership. I've done it while others have talked about it.
CEO, we actually have a CEO in the White House, which is what I think we need. If I may just briefly interject here, we need a zero-based budgeting. That's the way businesses are actually run. Start with
we're not a
zero
business.
as the baseline for
God, this neoliberal logic is just insufferable.
Necessary.
Oh no, he's like an ANCAP. He
absolutely.
wants no government programs, limited everything. Everyone fend for themselves.
Including the ones that
it's wild to me.
CEO will do it, and I think we need a CEO in the White House to get that done.
Governor Burgum runs a state that way. Yes,
tech
go
questions,
ahead.
You didn't ask the only guy that's been in tech. You have energy questions, you don't ask anything. But I'm just going to say right now, when you say nobody else has done it, the energy plans that have all been announced in the last month by these other folks on stage, we're already doing it in North Dakota. The border plans they're already talking about, we've got troops down at the border flying helicopter missions from North Dakota, from San Diego to the Gulf Coast, trying to stop transnational criminal organizations from inflicting the invasion.
Are they at war with South Dakota?
In our state. And on the energy policy, we're already doing it. And it's not saying when nobody else done the big fights, North Dakota was leading the charge. We won the battle to get the Biden administration, who was ignoring the law. They were the first administration since Truman that wasn't holding the quarterly required lease sales. And we won that in federal court. WOTUS, we won that in federal court. We're fighting the Biden administration on 20 fronts. To say that nobody's fighting the big fights, just look at the record of what we're doing right now. Energy, economy, national security, I've been talking about it since day one, and now finally good, we're having the conversation about it, but we've got the answer in North Dakota.
Governor Burgum, let's talk big government. This question's for you. Big government keeps getting bigger. 1/5 of all new jobs this year have been created by the government.
Vivek is done for.
You want to shrink the size of government.
Yeah.
But it has been a century.
I think Nikki Haley burned him to the ground.
Why would you be any different?
Well, because we've done it in North Dakota. When I took office, we shrunk the state budget general fund by 27% in the first 4 months I was office, and all the trains still running on time. Why? Because you had a business leader that was actually there. Inside of every government job, there's 10 or 20% of mind-numbing, soul-sucking work that even the state and federal employees don't want to do, and you can engineer that work out of the job. That would free up right there 20% of 2 million civilian employees. And by the way, we've got 10 million jobs open. They'd have plenty to do, and they could be generating taxes instead of being paid by taxes. This is totally possible to do it if you have somebody that understands, because having worked in technology for 30 years, everything we had to do was to be better, faster, and cheaper the next day. That's what we can do in government. That's what we're doing in North Dakota.
All right, Governor DeSantis.
Banger.
Not the kind.
I want to ask ask you about something that I think is on a lot of Republicans' minds. This election could come down to less than 50,000 votes in 3 states. Abortion was on the ballot in 6 states in 2022. Republicans lost all of them. Next year, abortion will likely be on the ballot as a must-win state. Governor DeSantis, how are you going to win over independent, pro-choice voters in Arizona?
Same way we did in Florida.
I'm not,
we won
baby.
The greatest Republican victory in a governor's race in the history of the state, over 1.5 million votes. We were winning places like Miami-Dade County, Palm Beach, that nobody thought was possible because we were leading with purpose and conviction. I reject this idea that pro-lifers are to blame for midterm defeats. I think there's other reasons for that. The former president, he's missing in action tonight. He's had a lot to say about that. He should be here explaining his comments to try to say
you
that
did this line already, buddy.
Protections are somehow a terrible
Somebody
thing.
else did
I
it
want
too.
him to look into the eyes and tell people who've been fighting this fight for a long time.
Oh my God, is Ron DeSantis about to look at the camera and call him Donald Duck?
The gravesite of President
He better not.
And I noticed that there was a quote where it says, every single person has purpose and worth. We're better off when everybody counts. And I think we should say
unless they're
what we believe in.
LGBTQ+.
I think we should
Unless
hold
you're
the
black.
Democrats
Yes.
accountable
that
for
as well.
their extremism,
Unless you need a house.
supporting
Yeah.
abortion
Or healthcare.
all
Or
the
health.
way
You're hungry.
to the moment of birth.
Indigenous.
Homeless.
You name it.
Genocide, and that is wrong.
Let me ask Governor Christie. Governor Christie, do you think that Republicans...
Nazis are welcome in Florida now.
Do you think
That's true.
They've been,
Not
but
Mexican.
especially now. Yeah.
Any immigrant.
They're in control of the state.
Yeah, because I did it in New Jersey,
Yeah.
Dana. It's
Then why are all these other states losing?
well, because they don't have leaders in those states who are leading the fight the way it should be led. And in fact is, look, I was the governor here of the only blue state that's represented up here. This is where the fight is really tough for Republicans. And those are the states that we're going to have to try to win if we're going to win the White House back. And what we did was 14 times, Dana, in 8 years, I vetoed Planned Parenthood funding. 14 times. No one else gets it that much. The Democrats just kept sending it to me, and I kept saying no because I believe in life, but I also believe in states' rights. And I think we fought hard against Roe versus Wade for decades to say that states should make these decisions. So we're going to have those fights in the states. But what you need is a leader who can talk to people and make them understand that if you're pro-life, you have to be pro-life for the entire life, not just the 9 months in the womb. And we talked a lot about fentanyl tonight, and we haven't spoken one moment about treatment. But we need to make sure that for the drug-addicted 16-year-old on the floor of the county lockup, her life is precious too. And we need to be providing treatment to cure this as a disease that it is. If you're pro-life, you're gonna be pro-life
I
for
think
the
you
entire
mixed
life.
two of your
We start
prepared
talking
statements
like that,
together.
they're going to do what I did in the blue state, which was get reelected with 61% of the vote and won 70% of independents and 51% of Latinos because I told them the truth from my heart.
Thank you. Vice President Pence, the latest Univision poll found that 73% of Latino voters think the Republican Party doesn't care about or is being hostile toward them, the Hispanic community. Only Governor DeSantis has translated his campaign into Spanish. How will you reach out to Latino voters?
Why? Come on, that was lame.
Well, I promise you that we're going to continue to build bridges to every community in this country. And I'm incredibly
Listen, Governor
proud of that.
DeSantis has been flying
Tax cut and tax reform bill.
immigrants
I worked
to
on Capitol
Martha's
Hill to help
Vineyard,
get that bill
but he put
passed into law, the
his
largest
campaign
tax
website
cut
in
in
Spanish, so
American
he
history. We
obviously
saw
cares about
literally
the Latino
The
community.
lowest unemployment ever recorded for Hispanic Americans.
That's all it
The lowest
takes, really.
unemployment ever recorded
Ridiculous.
for African Americans.
It ended
50-year low
racism.
for women. So I think the President of the United States needs to be a champion for the American dream for every American. It begins with the unborn. and
This
the
is you
aging,
can see
the
why
infirm.
Americans don't care
And it
about
begins with every
politics.
ethnic group.
Yeah,
in
Just
especially
watching
now.
this.
And I
It's
promise
disgusting.
you, as President of the United States, I'll be
It's
a
just
champion.
gibberish.
I'll be a champion
Yeah.
for the American dream, for Hispanic Americans, and for every American. So help me God.
Senator Scott, reaction?
Okay.
Religion
There's
in
no
place
doubt
of
that
any
Yeah, I had to- if you
If you
personality.
lead by example, it's the best way to get the job done. If you look at my office in the Senate, my chief of staff
They about
is
to
the
shut him up
only
in about 2
Hispanic
seconds.
female chief of staff in the Senate. I hired her because she was the best highest qualified person we have. What we need are leaders who lead by example. And I will simply say, I would love to finish my conversation with Nikki as it relates to the job that needs to get
He's
done.
really mad he was taking
Yeah,
it.
he's pissed.
Maybe you got to leave stuff in the
Gas
past.
tax increase in South Carolina. Talk
Let us
about
forget
someone
about
who
it.
has never seen a federal
Next
dollar
debate.
she doesn't like.
He gonna bring
10 cents on the gallon in South Carolina. As the UN ambassador, you literally
Bring it,
put
Tim.
$50,000 in a $15 million
That was good.
subsidized location. Next.
You got bad information. First of all, I fought the gas tax in South Carolina multiple times against the establishment.
Just go to YouTube.
Against the
Because he
establishment.
did.
And you wanna
While
know
people were
what the
talking, he went to
answer was?
YouTube.
When they wouldn't pass the gas tax, that I said the only way I will
Here's
pass
what you
it
have to
if
do.
you will
All you
give
have
us
to do.
three.
All you have to do is go
if you will
watch
give-
Nikki Haley on YouTube.
If you will give me 3 times the deduction in income tax, then I will look at your gas
So you
tax,
said
which
yes,
is why it didn't
you would
happen.
pass. Exactly, Ron.
Secondly, on the 50 million.
Here is a nice part.
Secondly, on the curtains, do your
Yes.
homework, Tim, because Obama bought those curtains.
Did you
and
send them back?
It's in the press.
Did you send them back?
It's the State Department.
Did you send them back?
you send them back? You're the one that works in Congress.
Oh my God.
You get
This is a personal fight.
This is very personal. She personally
Yeah.
attacked everybody
From the same state,
except
too.
for the man that we do not know.
Here's a fact. Here's a fact, though.
Yeah, Ron wants to
They're,
taste.
they're arguing over curtains, right? I mean,
Yeah, they are. They're arguing over curtains
probably,
right now.
probably the.
This is going to help
probably
the American people.
Also, probably the conversation Tim Scott in particular, out of all the people on stage, wants to stay away from in terms of how he tries to present himself.
Yeah.
That's right.
Not a fair representation of the
Alright, there's more
Southern
of this
hospitality we have down here.
I
in
feel like
North
this has been
Carolina.
going on for at least 5.5
trust our
hours.
government
No,
Yeah,
I'm
this
not.
has been rough.
Yeah.
This one.
Just
Ugh.
They're not talking about nothing. They're not talking about anything. It's all bullshit.
Zero
I assume they'll come back
substance.
for
Who's
the
better?
conclusion, right? The ending statement. Should.
They have to. There's no way
Closing
this
statement.
can go any. I mean,
no,
it's
it can't because I will have to bow out at that point.
This-
because
yeah,
this is-
it's not gonna
I'm
pass
feeling
it.
dumb. Okay, I feel like
Me too.
my brain
Can
is getting
any-
smaller, like Nikki said. But I will say though, Nikki did bring something. Well, stuff that we will remember. Watching this,
She's had the best
okay,
night.
she's saying
Absolutely.
things. She's bringing fire. She's, everybody else is cold tonight. I forgot again. Mike Pence, where is he? Like, we haven't seen him. We know Tim Scott is only going to get 5 seconds on the clock, and everybody else is going to talk during his time. He's such that man is so weak. It's really sad. It's really, really sad. But Nikki is holding her own. She started off a little slow, but she came in hard. She came in hot. Anybody that was
Lot of
trying to come
facts.
against her, a lot of facts.
right.
Anybody, and she's ready too. Anybody who tried to come against her, she made sure like she wasn't giving anything that was like, okay, let me give a Twitter a Twitter fact or a Twitter line or whatever. Like he's saying, go find out this information from YouTube about Nikki Haley. There's a lot of misinformation out there. She came ready. And then she told him like, bring it. And then with Vivek, like he thought he was doing something there. She was like, sit down, child. Let a child stay in a child's place because I'm
got
grown.
roasted.
I've been here. I've done this. You just coming in here. You have no experience. So hush. Like she's been going
Damn.
down the line. Yeah, she's been she's been putting out. She's been
Folks,
definitely-
But I wonder if that's
you
just
heard
us.
it. You heard it here. Hold on. You heard it here first. Rebecca coming out strong with her endorsement of Nikki Haley.
Not at all.
I
That you gotta like. If I had to choose in this moment right now, like who won the night, even though this night is a mess,
no, I
it's
agree
boring,
with
I
you
could have
totally.
done without it. It would
Even
have
though
been
this shit
Nikki
doesn't
came
matter
prepared.
at all.
No, they're not. None of them are going to win.
Question.
They're not going to be Trump. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all
Yeah.
fighting really
and then
hard for
there's
second
that.
place.
But
It's
even if
incredible
Exactly.
to watch.
Here,
It's,
I believe
it's
that-
a second place off.
I believe that
I
Trump,
actually-
even if he was here for the night, he wouldn't even be answering questions. But they all live on his penis. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So
I would
and-
like to
Penis.
see. I would like to see Nikki. I would like to see Nikki Haley on the stage with Trump. Actually, that. I think
Oh,
would be
yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
would be something. That's the
Yeah.
only person that I can see right now who would be able to.
We'll see. Yeah, but that's my question. Is that just us, or do you think that played well amongst Republicans? Because I just looked online, and a lot of people are mad at Nikki Haley, but those people happen to be Vivek fans. Like Tim Pool, for example, he's straight up being like, "Is Nikki Haley the most annoying person in
But
the
they don't
world?"
like
Crowder's
women.
saying the same thing.
They
Yeah, well,
don't
that's
like
true.
women.
True.
So it's that, and Nikki Haley is more of the neocon variety of Republican, and the online Republican right do not like neocons, which obviously leftists don't like neocons either. But we like them for a different. We don't like them for a very different reason than why the Nazi right online factions don't like the neocons.
I mean, didn't she say the other day that women should have, even though she slightly said it at the last debate, like women should have say so about their bodies? I mean, who's voting for somebody like that? Girl, I mean, I like how she's talking. It's nice. It's cute. We know she ain't gonna win, but it's nice to see somebody who's able to actually answer questions, have something to say,
and start
actually
fights.
put in some kind of work. Yeah, something.
What's the curtain all about? Do any of you know? Do you know that reference? What is the curtain?
Obama sent her some lovely curtains that she used, apparently.
And she put them up, and they were mad. And she said, "Well, Tim, you was working in Congress. Why you ain't take them down?" It was
like what?
It was like texting, girl.
So
I love that.
Like, it reminds me of the thing about like Chris Christie giving what was it? Giving Obama a hug. Like there was a whole
Obama a hug
that was like a huge deal.
Like, how
dare you?
They focus on these like, oh, you accepted this kind gesture by Obama. How dare you?
Vivek brought that up at the last debate to Chris Christie. You hugged Obama. Yeah. It's just, that was after Christie accused him of plagiarizing Obama.
And their voters work on this bullshit. That's why they bring this crap up.
Please let the last segment. I can't take it.
No.
I could go another hour, but we only have a few minutes. And
oh, thank God.
Yes,
thank
please,
God.
Lord.
That if you all stay in the race, former President Donald Trump wins the nomination. None of you have indicated that you're dropping out. So, which one of you on stage tonight should be voted off the island?
What?
Are they really doing a survivor?
To write your choice on the notepad in front of you. 15 seconds. Starting now, of the people on the stage, who should be? I'm absolutely serious.
Are you serious?
I mean, we're here, like, we're happy to debate, but I think that's disrespectful to my fellow competitors.
Nobody wants to participate.
Oh.
I think that
Vivek's gonna take it.
I honestly agree with that too. They don't respect
I'm impressed. I'm actually
impressed. Yeah, they don't
Let me ask you something. Then if you won't answer that question, let me ask you this one. What is your mathematical path, Governor DeSantis, in order to try to beat President Trump, who has a commanding and enduring lead in this race?
So polls don't elect presidents. Voters elect presidents. Right. And we're going to take the case to the people in these early states. We're going to do it in a state-by-state direction. And why? Because as Reagan said in his day, this is our time for choosing. We are not getting a mulligan on the 2024 election. Republicans have lost 3 straight elections in a row. We were supposed to have a red wave with inflation at 9%. It crashed and burned. Not in Florida, it didn't. We delivered it in Florida. And so we've got to choose right. We've got to win. And we need somebody that's going to be able to serve 2 terms. So in January of 2023, they'll be able to address the nation saying, we turned the economy around, we secured the border, and we fended off the threat from communist China. As your president, I will get that job done.
Governor Christie, I believe I did see you write something. Governor Christie, I believe, excuse me, Governor Christie, I believe I did see you write something on the card.
No, but I'll certainly tell you.
That's not your business.
Look, I think I've been the only one on this stage who's been clear about this. I voted Donald Trump off the island right now.
Crazy.
And the reason I vote him off the island,
but any of the people on the stage,
you know what? Every person on this stage has shown the respect for Republican voters to come here to express their views honestly, candidly, and directly, and to take your questions honestly. I have respect for every man and woman on this stage because they've done it. Vivek, put your hand down for a second, would you?
Don't even learn his name.
This guy has not only divided our party, he's divided families all over this country. He's divided friends all over this country. I've spoken to people, and I know everyone else has, who have sat at Thanksgiving dinner or at a birthday party and can't have a conversation anymore if they disagree with Donald Trump. He needs to be voted off the island, and he needs to be taken out of this process.
Can we get Vivek 15 seconds?
You got 15 seconds, Vivek.
Look, I have a different view on this. I think Trump was an excellent president, but the America First agenda does not belong to one man. It does not belong to Donald Trump. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to you, the people of this country. And the question is, who's going to unite this country and take the America First agenda to the next level? When we rallied behind the cry to make America great again, we did not just hunger for a single man. We hungered for the unapologetic pursuit of excellence. So yes, I will respect Donald Trump and his legacy because it's the right thing to do.
Oh my God!
Kiss ass! Shut the fuck up.
He is hungering for that man.
To the next level,
Very hungry and thirsty.
They end on him. Depressing.
Yeah. Is Mike Pence there?
Oh.
What about the monster guy?
I want to hear more about Mike Pence's sexual exploits. Didn't think we'd learn that.
That was aghast.
Yeah, like,
wow.
What?
He did not mean to say that.
He
definitely didn't think.
I bang a teacher every night.
Yeah, I smash.
Can we put the camera on her really quick? Nancy, yeah, I tapped that. Yeah.
That's definitely gay. Like, babe, let them know I'll be putting it down. Anyhow, God bless America. I'm like, this is out of control. It was really boring, but really exciting.
Yeah.
Like high moments and then like low moments. It was really
Mostly
a lot
boring.
of low moments. It was a joke. It was another circus. And we're not getting anything that makes us feel like,
It's like a really bad circus. It's like I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
a
like
bad
if you go to a circus and then the trapeze artists fall on the floor and you're just like, oh damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's brutal.
It's really depressing. It's a really depressing circus.
It's like, oh no, he deserved that. You don't know. Like that's what you feel like. No, he deserved. Vivek fell. His whole face is. He deserved that. Shut up.
Well,
like
yes.
send him out of here.
Seeing him faceplant was really sweet. I think that honestly, if I had to pick a winner, I think not that it matters. I think that, like you all said, Nikki Haley was probably the best, just because she actually put herself out there and attacked other people. Like as you were saying earlier, Rebecca, like it felt like they were just trying to get from soundbite to soundbite. Like in their heads, they're envisioning what their campaign is going to tweet about. Like hey, Donald Duck. Like okay. But where's the real substance? Like there's no actual back and forth in conversation. But Nikki Haley, to her credit, was the only one that actually fostered that. So I think that just by that alone, she looks the most serious, even though none of them look serious, arguably.
I just want to show you what we missed. Here's a speech that Trump gave.
But we will stop him. Hopefully your
so-called
leaders
union
at United Auto Workers will endorse Donald Trump.
That's of course his focus of the entire speech is that he should get the endorsement as opposed to fighting for the auto workers, who by the way
he doesn't endorse that,
not even there. He's not even speaking to the UAW. He's speaking to a private. He was invited by the executives of a private company that are not unionized.
To non-union workers. Yeah.
Can you play it one more time, David, before you close it? Just one more time.
But we will stop him. Hopefully your leaders at United Auto Workers will endorse Donald Trump.
That's what caught me off guard. I was like,
he's back. Yeah, that's a good alarm clock.
Now, this is what
1 and 0 and 2.
I got that on the soundboard. It's my favorite soundbite.
I will say it's not only us that take the message joke, right? And I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about the panel, the people who are
the second place auditioners.
Yeah, the D-listers. All of them are. But it's not only us who even the moderators took them as a joke. You can't tell me that's how you're ending it. You first of all, you call that man's numbers, them little numbers, the mere 19%. Then when at the end of it, you said who was going to be voted off the island because even the moderators knew none of you guys are going to survive this. The polls are saying that nobody wants any of you guys. You guys suck. You guys are not even on the level that Donald Trump is with this. So why even try? So let's play a game. And one of you guys like kill each other off the island. Who would it be? And I did like to see that everybody was like, now hold on, lady. You don't come over here disrespecting us. Now we're the ones that are here. Even though they're not doing anything, they're not saying anything.
I do have to say that I do have to interject and say there was like 2 people who said that. The rest of them actually got their pens up and were ready to do it. I saw Vivek. Is it possible? Is it possible?
Trump is
Is it possible? Is it possible to rewind to that moment so we could watch who picked up the pad and was ready to do it? Because I'm telling you, I saw more than a few people lift up the paper, ready to go.
Yeah,
and then like DeSantis, I think, was the first who was like,
Christie
"I'm not doing
wrote
this."
something on his paper. That's what
he
that
did.
man
That
man was nosy. The British man. He was like, "Well, what you got on your paper?" It's like,
Donald Trump, obviously.
It's a joke. But like people were willing to tap in. But then there was like, you know what? We are here together. But Christy, you wrote something on your paper. Now you acting up because we see you write something on your paper.
Share it with the rest of the class.
How amazing would it be though if they actually did do it and they voted someone and then like, but before the debate started, the audience decided to vote to give somebody a secret hidden immunity idol.
Like somebody comes like Ryan Seacrest, like right now we're gonna have some callers call in. The line is now open. You too can vote. Like 5553 5553. You can vote somebody.
I would smash my phone.
Yeah.
Like as soon
which
as
candidate will you save?
As soon as that moment's up and available, you gotta watch it because you know that viral clip that's been going around Twitter that everyone's making fun of, that woman sitting waiting for her IHOP food and she's like all like over the top happy to like dive into it. I swear they said the question and you saw all those candidates were like, all right, I'm gonna write down somebody's name.
No, now that I think
fuck Nikki.
I think that's gonna be a talked about moment. The end of the debates when the woman asked the question, and I think that will be more of a talked about moment as well. I think that the Republicans, when they do their think pieces, they're starting right now, but I think as the articles come out tomorrow and the think pieces come out tomorrow, I really think that they should focus on the fact that none of them were answering questions. But here's where people aren't even serious in that department. They're just going to focus on the fact that this, like maybe Vivek was quieted too much or this and that. They ain't gonna talk about Tim Scott at all, child. But they're gonna play on the stuff that makes no sense, and they're not gonna focus on the fact that these leaders were not saying anything that is going to affect the people in any way, shape, or form. That's going to help the people in any way, shape, or form. They're not going to focus on that. And I think that's where we missed them, or that's where they missed the mark. And Democrats missed the mark there as well, too. I bet you during their debates, we're going to see a lot of Twitter points, we're going to see a lot of that. You think this was something? I think when it gets to the other side, we're going to see a lot of that too. So
I do think you pointed it out great about how Tim Scott's gonna get ignored. I mean, one of the moments during the debate, I swear, was like, and now let's go to Tim Scott for an answer. And Tim Scott's like, well, as a black, ding ding, okay, your time is up, Tim. Thank you so much.
They were like, listen, we already don't want you up here, and here you go talking about being black, and you keep referring to African American stats. Like, stop. But he needs to just hang it up. And he's holding on to grudges from the past debate, and he's holding on to grudges from 5 minutes ago, and he needs to let it go.
Now.
He was like, listen,
they're not frenemies.
Yeah, she's like, I love you, Tim, mean it, but you don't do nothing. You don't do a thing.
Bring it, Tim.
I just got to share this tweet from Jake Paul, who supports Vivek. Vivek is right. Their president wants to beat Trump or Biden. They need the youth. It might be a shock to y'all that most 18 to 20-year-olds don't use this platform, let alone care about politics. He wants to raise the voting age. Vivek wants to raise the voting age so that most of these people can't vote. Like, this is so
we need our youth
ridiculous.
To vote.
We need our youth to vote. But if Vivek gets in power, then they will not, because he will make it illegal. It is just so goddamn.
Well, he wants to, but it is unconstitutional, as is the case with him trying to ban birthright citizenship, which he benefited from, which is absolutely still wild.
Yeah.
And the fact that they want the Supreme Court to revisit or to visit this, as if there's even a question that would be acceptable. I mean, you can interpret a lot of provisions within the Constitution, but that one is really fucking clear, even if you very much try to nitpick. And it's just like, I think that the best point, maybe it was Rebecca that said it, is that like he is doing this because he's trying to prove to them, kind of assuage fears, that he would be as racist as them. In fact, he'd be more racist. So you don't have to fear the fact that he's the non-white candidate. It's okay. He'll be super racist, super fascistic.
It was trash. I mean, it was just garbage. I mean, like, I'm trying to find the good parts in it because we watched it in full, and I don't want to feel like
sunken cost fallacy.
We don't have to pretend. There's no good parts. The whole thing fucking sucked. It doesn't matter anyways. They're all fighting for second place. None of this really matters.
This is what we would like. This,
yeah. I mean, we watched this looking for some potential entertainment that may come out of it, and maybe there were some potential entertainment moments. But it was just even if like Nikki Haley in our minds maybe came out the winner of that debate, none of it fucking mattered. None of it matters.
Right.
It doesn't matter at all.
The bar is it's low. Okay. Yeah. That's where we, as long as we understand that. But it's just I just find it to be like politics has gone to a place where, I mean, it's always been a place where it's like it's never been fair, I would say. And it's always been a spot for the white men. But now that even with a little bit of diversity, they gonna disrespect people right on camera. They gonna disrespect you right in your face, no matter what, no matter if you are in the Congress, no matter what seats you got, no matter where you've been, you'll be disrespected. But it's just a joke. Like, nobody is saying anything. They're not even faking it. They're just not gonna answer your question, and they're still gonna expect you to vote for them.
Oh, speaking of faking it, why is Vivek still doing the whole like I came from humble beginnings, my parents had to work hard, blah blah blah. He got destroyed for that by Mehdi Hasan. He looked at his tax returns. He's like, the year that you took $50,000 from the George Soros Foundation, you were clocking in $450,000 a year. You are not like some humble beginnings like story. Like like how many of us would want $450,000 a year at that part in your life? Yeah,
that humble beginnings story sells. I mean, we see that story sells so much so that Ron DeSantis keeps making them up on the fly. I keep laughing because Penny in the Pan
people got
was such a story that we were all confused then. And then whatever story he gave, like 3 stories, and that's how he wants to tell himself with these stories. Like, when I came off of that plane and I felt the breeze against my skin, and then he talked about how, wow, I mean, being more of a conservative coming from an Ivy League school. Sir, most people that come from Ivy League schools are very conservative. What are you talking about? Like, these stories are not, who are you trying to relate to? Because it's not relatable. The stats that they were giving about Florida, you still weren't, you were trying to back them up. And it was clear that you're going to stick right behind your being racist. You're going to stick right behind being a capitalist. This is what you don't care about your people. You care about certain people. And let's make that clear.
Right.
You don't care about educators. You don't care about education. Like, you don't care about healthcare. That was clear. But people will still sit here and they're going to say, well, Ron DeSantis, even if they know that everything that man is saying will not benefit them, just because they are in Florida and they represent red, Republican, conservative, the right, they will just say, I have to stick by Ron DeSantis. Even though everything is clear. Yeah.
I think, like, the worst part, I mean, think about what the opposition is going to spend on advertising against this, right? Like $25-30 million in advertising from the Biden administration to have some sort of a response to what? Like, these guys aren't even really auditioning for like cable news pundit at this point. Nobody would have them. Like these debates are basically just generating fodder for, mainstream media tomorrow morning, right? But like, what is there to use even? Like, I just feel like they could easily cancel the rest of it. How many more of these debates are there? They could just cancel them. And
there's at least one more. November 8th, baby. We'll be back.
Yeah, I think people are probably more excited for November
until then.
30th.
That's kind of surprising.
What is it? Newsom and DeSantis going head to head? I think people would probably.
Is that happening?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, November 30th, I think. John Hannity.
That's a private thing, though, right? It's not part of the actual official.
No, it's not part of this at all. No, but I mean, I think that's my point. Is like that would be more interesting than anything.
Oh, the head!
Look at that!
What is happening?
Wow!
Like
a broken bobblehead.
Ew, turn it
off. If you told me he was a robot, you know what? Maybe he is.
What is going on?
Something's going on there with that guy.
Yeah, something happened to him, period. He's off. He's off. And
what is it? There's something wrong. Like, he just doesn't feel like he has to
I'll tell you, he's a sociopath. He doesn't know how to be
That's what
human.
it is.
That's
Exactly.
what it is. That's all it is.
Yeah,
There it is.
That's what it is. Yep.
Listen, I saw poor, and I went up to them and I asked, "Hey, what's your biggest problem?" They said, "Biden being a communist."
Yeah. It's like
people can't buy groceries in your city. What does that mean to you?
Oh yeah, he was talking about grocery shop. We all know he doesn't do that. He also said he talked to 3 people who all got mugged that day. Like what? Mass muggings were happening all over the streets.
That's like Patty who who survived 3 abortions.
3 abortions.
Like,
that's right.
She's like,
Yeah,
whoa,
rule of
another
3,
one.
apparently.
Whoa,
it
fuck.
was penny in a pan. I don't even know. I still don't understand that story and why there was a pan involved. Like I don't.
It's complete bullshit, dish, wasn't it? It's just I feel like if man, like in any other situation, if someone says that, you would think they're completely nuts. You would get them some help, but it's like at a Republican debate, and it's just like not even talked about again. No one mentioned it. Like it's not. That should be a big news story. Like what the hell is Ron DeSantis talking about? Is he okay? Like
Penny was in a damn pan, child, and she survived. And did she live in that pan? I don't know. I don't know.
I have so many questions.
They cracked her like an egg out of the uterus, and then they had to raise her in the pan.
She survived in her umbilical cord.
I hated that story so much.
They put her in a sandwich bag, and they kept like feeding food to the umbilical cord.
I'm
it's
tired.
so weird.
Oh my god!
And honestly, I can't get over. So Rebecca, once you said that Doug Burgum looks like he's wearing a mask, I couldn't unsee it.
It's like he needed to, like he can just go like this and take it off.
Yeah,
Mission Impossible style.
Like somebody else's
still don't know
face.
who he is. Like we still don't know him.
It looks like Sacha Baron Cohen, right? Like playing a character.
One of his characters. That's true.
I mean, what if? What if?
Like
he looks like the character from I Think You Should Leave. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
I'll get you the photo. Hold on.
Yeah, like the prank gone wrong.
Oh, I know who you're talking.
Oh, that weird monster thing.
Yeah,
the weird looking old guy mask.
Yeah.
Barely qualified for this, right? Like he had to like interject and yell out. He knew they were going to.
He was only asked 2 questions, I think.
What were the standards to make the debate?
But he was butting in.
Not sure.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. I can see that. You see, it does look like you can tell this guy has a mask on, and that's how that guy looks. But you're right. He was only asked like 2 questions, but he made sure.
Wait,
he
someone
said,
pull up Burgum. Someone pull up Burgum next to.
Yeah, so you had to have like 3% polling or something like that. You had to meet like a donor threshold, and you had to sign the RNC pledge.
He paid for his spot.
Oh,
he paid for his spot for sure.
Yeah.
Bloomberg style.
And he made sure in this debate that he would butt into everybody's stuff. He was the one on the side. We were hearing a faint voice. He was one of those ones that were making comments while other people were talking, and his mic was off. He made sure that he was going to be heard this evening.
Yeah, he won't be there at the next one. Who do you think's going to be there at the next one? Most of these guys. It's just so comical.
Yeah.
I love Binder's.
Probably all of them except for definitely not Burgum, but
No.
who else would not be at the
0.5%,
next one?
something like
If they did like 5 people for the next one.
I think Vivek took a hit.
Vivek looked like Beavis and Butt, because that was good. Because it was killing me. Because I'm like, yes, Jimmy Neutron, that's easy. We know that. But
yeah,
but Beavis and Butt, that's I can see that for
it's
sure.
all forehead.
Yeah, it's all forehead, and then he has Vegeta's hairline from Dragon Ball Z. I know that Widow's Peak. I got it, but his is deep, and he really, the way that they're treating him now, I thought he was gonna come in strong. They're treating him like you still got milk on your tongue, little boy. Like you have nothing to offer us, so shut up.
Mess. Yeah,
like, and he's really being quiet these days, so he needs to just bow out too. It ain't working for him.
Yeah, I feel like this isn't going to help him. I really, to be clear, I don't think this is going to help any of them. I hope that the goading of Trump to show up will have any effect, but I really don't think it will. He has no reason at all to show up to these. It would be fun. Like, I would be interested again if Trump did show up to these, just because I think that the fireworks would be there and would be very entertaining. But I mean, there's no value. There's literally no value. There's
what
no
if he
policy
waited
substance.
till the third one? Wow.
It's helped him by avoiding them.
I think so too.
I found the most recent update on all the stats on them. So Trump's at 54%, DeSantis 13.8%, Haley at 6.3%, tied with Vivek at 6.3%, Pence 4.6%, Christie 2.9%, Scott 2.7%, and then after that,
wow,
that's according to who?
538. Their live estimate.
It's amazing DeSantis is still in second place to me. Like I'm actually surprised by that.
Yeah,
he'd be lower.
I'm not, because everybody was going for him, and I think that it's gonna dwindle down more. But I'm interested to see when those update, and I want to see where Nikki will be now. Her and who are tied? You said.
Vivek,
Vivek, yeah, Vivek and
okay.
I could see Tim Scott not making the next one because he's the lowest on this list.
They let him know he was the lowest. They let him know he was just dust.
After Burgum,
he was dust.
Yeah.
He was dust.
They were like, get out of here.
But you know what? Trump wouldn't show up for the last debate. It would be funny if he did, if he waited until he had more confidence and saw how everyone did in 2 debates. But he would have to sign the RNC pledge to support whoever the nominee was.
He's not showing up to any debates. He has no reason to. Like, there's no reason to show up at any debate.
Yeah.
Like, unless it comes down to him and someone else, and the other person starts gaining, then at that point, maybe.
He hasn't been to them yet, and look where he's polling. And I think that him rebelling the way that he does, and every time the debates are on, he makes sure that he is appearing at the same time doing something, and so that is working in his favor. And they're just like, wow, what, like, he's just a true revolutionary. He likes to rebel. He goes against the grain. This is a president, man. This is a president. And everybody who says that should definitely just go ahead, put that red lipstick out all around your lip, put the little clown hat on, because you're a clown. You're a clown. You're a joke.
It's amazing that he isn't being held accountable even by the public for all the stuff he's in trouble for. I mean, the indictments, the most recent headlines that come out about defrauding banks and insurers.
He's a revolutionary. He took that. He came down here to Atlanta and he took that mugshot because he stands for the people. You can just put him right next to all the people fighting for rights. He's a civil rights leader. Okay. After he did that thing, he's a civil rights leader.
Right.
I did see people saying that online. I was like, what the fuck?
Comparing him to like Nelson Mandela and shit. Like, it's just so fucking
You see how weirdo they are? Like, it's a shame. No matter what he does, they will flip it and they will act like this is like he is seated at the right hand of God. There is, don't even say Jesus, say Donald Trump. Like, this is how they treat him. And he hits every mark of somebody that shouldn't be president. And like, he's a criminal. Right? He's racist. We saw him throwing paper towels at immigrants in their worst times, or people in another country or part of the U.S. But the way
he thought it was another country, I think.
Yes, the way he treated them was as if it was another country. He calls black people in black countries, like the one that my family is from, Haiti. He calls the country a shithole country. This is who Donald Trump is, but yet everybody's gonna look at him like he is a god. And I mean, he talks about grabbing people by the vajayjays. He's accused of rape.
And then they make t-shirts saying you can grab me by
yes,
right.
Like he's.
Do you think he could win, Rebecca? Do you think that?
I think he'll win. I think he'll win. I wouldn't be shocked. The first time he won, I was like, oh my God. The second time I was like, now look at America. I just can't. I know if America can do it twice, they can do it again. Dumb as hell. They don't care. And they want to keep up this, he's somebody who causes division. And America and how Americans, the American way is to keep those divisions. Look how far we've come, and look how much under Donald Trump and people who think like him and people who we have in power who still want to push Donald Trump ideologies and ways. I can't believe to this day that Roe versus Wade was overturned. I'm like, I cannot believe that we've gotten there. I can't believe a lot of things have happened under him, and how people still are pushing Donald Trump ideas and policies. This is where we are now. Nobody cares anymore to hide the fact that they're racist. Nobody cares anymore to hide the fact that they're against the LGBTQIA plus community for any reason. Nobody cares to hide the fact that they're going to push conspiracy theories about mass shootings against children. Nobody cares about that anymore. Like, they're not going to hide it. They're coming out. Your doctor is wearing his hood, right? Your lawyer is going to wear their damn KKK hood. They don't care anymore. Nobody cares anymore. And that's because of Donald Trump. But they will vote for him. Just because Donald Trump gave people a couple of dollars. And I hear a lot of people talk about this. Well, during the pandemic, I got such and such amount from Donald Trump. They think that is the good enough reason to look the other way about everything else that he's done because they got an extra check because they got 2 kids during the pandemic. And that is, to me, that's why I say America is dumb. You don't see how much this will hurt you and your kid just because you got a check at that time. Everything this man has done will hurt you, your children, your children's children. If we stick with this, people
will cost you a lot more money than just the check that you were given. Like the
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And you can't go get no health care. You can't just because you got that check in that time and then you blew it doing whatever. You still can't afford healthcare, sis. You can't afford housing, my brother. You cannot afford to eat. You can't afford gas. Like, come on, let's talk about the real things here. But they don't want to talk about that.
You know what I get in the mail a lot? All the political flyers I get in the mail, living in South Carolina for just over a year now, are a vote for Biden or nominating Trump will get Biden reelected. That's for the Americans for Prosperity or whatever it is, the AFP. It's a barrage. It's like every now and then I'll get one for DeSantis or somebody knocks on the door to try and get me to vote for DeSantis. But I swear it's all like and they don't say vote for DeSantis instead, but they say don't vote for Trump. And I feel like there's a lot of money being spent on that down here. And I just wonder if that's just here or what.
You know, I haven't gotten anything in the mail, and I live in a pretty conservative area, but there was a time, I think, like the last campaign, 2020. Remember when we were getting so many commercials? I think they were doing a lot with the commercials. We were getting every corner, on YouTube. The kids is watching kid stuff, and then you get a whole commercial about don't vote for Biden or whatever the case may be. But I haven't seen a lot of those right now, and I wonder, will they come towards the end? I don't know, but I know they spend a lot of money. Yeah, but they spent a lot of money
couple of months,
time. I'm looking forward to all of the acting, you know, in the drama that they're going to put into those commercials. A waste of money.
The amount of money that they spend trying to gaslight us is just it's astounding.
They
and
could
depressing.
Be feeding children, but they want to go ahead and put them up in them commercials.
Because it is working though, as you said, Rebecca. Like I'm sorry, Americans are stupid. I include myself. I'm stupid as well because I'm in America, so it's hard not to lose IQ as you see all the bullshit transpiring. But like, I honestly I think that this is what Make America Great Again was, where racism is very, very much out in the open. No more dog whistles. Where Nazis are back again. Where LGBTQ plus people are second-class citizens. Trans people are on the cusp of being eliminated publicly. This is I think that Trump honestly accomplished that goal. Like I think he was successful. And so like how much further will it go in 2024 if he wins? And there are times where I feel confident, but at the same time I have so little faith in America that I believe, like a lot of people were saying that poll from the Washington Post where Biden was like 9 or 11 points behind, like people said that it was a bad poll and that Republicans were overrepresented. It's America. It's totally possible he could win again.
Honey, I would not be shocked.
I'm still shocked he won the first time though.
Yeah, right. I was shocked then, but
I've never had that feeling since of when he won. It was a unique feeling to that situation. Right. I was like, oh no,
that was a tough
the country
time.
is very bad.
It was inconceivable that I could happen.
Yeah. I remember exactly where I was when it happened. I was so afraid. I was in church. And then that's when I was like, I can't go to church no more. The pastor then said, it is God's will. Now I can't go here no more. You talking to a whole bunch of and there's like a lot of black people in the audience, and the pastor is white, and I'm like, I can't. You're conservative. I can tell a lot of things that he was saying. I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. And then the next day I went to work. they were all like cheering. They were playing. This girl was in the bathroom crying, and I was consoling her because in her office they were being so mean. They were like, "Ha ha." She was Hispanic. She was Afro Latino, and she was like, they were literally joking at her, saying, you know, you might have to go to the border now. They were doing that in the office. Yes, and it was such a tough and cold day for a lot of people because we did not know what was going to happen. And immediately after we saw what happened in Charlottesville, people were out there carrying torches. It was and then police officers we saw in like literally an uptick in a lot of that.
Right.
And so it's a lot of violence, a lot of division. It was a lot of stress. And
well, you don't think Union Joe can come through for us this time, though? You don't think like Union Joe? That's what I was calling him. I think that's what the Democrats should nickname him that right away.
Yeah.
Don't you think? I mean, why aren't they leaning into that? Maybe
because they know right now. Let's be honest, right? Joe Biden is great, you know, in some ways, but it's not like we're like Joe Biden is the man with the plan. Like he's done some things, but it's like we need something. We need something to go against what the Republicans are doing, and they're not even doing much. Like I said, the bar is pretty low, and I don't want to say with Joe, but I don't think Joe Biden would fit in another. I don't know. I just need to see.
You know what Biden is? He's the fascism sleep button. Like, you know, when your alarm clock goes off and you hit the sleep button for 5 more minutes, it's just like postponing fascism. It's like, okay, 5 more minutes. Just give us a little bit of a break to figure out what the fuck to do.
I like that.
Good analogy.
Yeah, like Biden is better than I thought he would be. But at the same time, that is insufficient. Like, you need radical changes to stop fascism. Like, that's the thing.
At the same time, it's better to hit the snooze button than
absolutely.
Yes.
I'm hitting the snooze button, man.
America, hit that button, please.
Yes, absolutely. 4 more years is 4 more years. That's important, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like the root problem is still there, and if Trump loses this time, nothing's stopping him from running in 2028, and by that time, Republicans will continue to shift to the right and get even worse. I mean, I just feel like
at some point his diet's going to catch up with him. It's not. It can't keep going.
You know what it is? Evil people live long.
Yeah, he did what he set out to do. Joe Biden, he wanted to be president. You got it, baby. Just sit this out. Like, I think that like we need to start we need to look for. I don't want to be ageist. It's my time to go. I'm tired. You guys.
It's my time to go.
I love you guys so much. I mean it.
It's good to see you.
See you tomorrow, Rebecca? Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Letterhack, love you, mean it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I will be here. And Letterhack, thank you for being on. Love you, mean it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Take care.
Yeah, I wanted an opportunity to say that too. Letterhack, I've loved your art for a long time. It's
also bye for me.
And thank you. And so much.
Take care, David.
Including all of us. That's awesome that you keep making.
Yeah, you're amazing.
Let's see. Let's see the amazing drawing that you were whipping up during this stream. Go ahead, put it up on the screen.
I did put a Ron DeSantis up. It's an old one.
Nice.
I knew you didn't. I just wanted to put you on the spot there. I wanted to mess with your head.
I was ready for that. I thought somebody might suggest it, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll be ready for that if I have to. But I'm kind of glad I got the night
that's
off.
just classic Binder fucking with the guests.
Yeah. But you know, that is crazy. Because when Trump got elected, everyone was like, fascism, really? Could that happen here? And now you look at these people on the stage and you're like, any one of these people would push us into fascism, like on day one, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh,
I mean, it's like
selection.
Clear and present. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very scary times. Absolutely.
When the neocons are the more moderate options, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the note of drawing people, I've had every single person that was on screen tonight on my show except for you, Lance, and there's still time. Okay.
You DM me anytime. We'll set it up. Let's.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
nice.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, I love coming on your show.
I'm gonna have.
There's still time.
I'm gonna have Nina Turner on in a couple of weeks.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She's been forecasting some sort of announcement next week too.
Nice.
She's
saying really?
that she has a big announcement next week to talk about what's next. So I hope to be able to talk to her about that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. That's really exciting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm also going to parlay.
I'm gonna drop out here too.
Okay.
Right.
So what
Bye,
is this
friends.
Last Man Standing with Binder?
Take care.
Or what part of the show is this now?
I'm doing super chats. Oh, that's it. Oh, I'm gonna read the super chats.
I'll hang out with you. Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's do this. I'm gonna go through them all. I'm gonna read super chats that aren't even for me.
Okay.
There's currently 31 super chats. I think we can knock these out pretty quick.
Why not?
Let's do it. I think if you're paying, you deserve to have your super chat read. I know my Leftist Mafia co-host might not feel the same way as me, but I feel strongly about giving people their money's worth. So
you wait till they leave to dig. I see.
Right. No, I do it in front of them too.
At least the Republicans do it to their face. Yeah.
they didn't stick around long enough for me to do it right now, but they know that I believe very strongly in the connection I have. I'm a man of the people. That's all I can say. I'm the people's champ. I'm like The Rock. I'm the people's champ. I mean, I know it's easy to confuse me with The Rock, the chiseled body, the rugged good looks, but I mean, it's just who I am. Okay.
So I smell what Bender's cooking.
Damn right you do. Let's do this. I don't know who's the super chats are for. I'm not gonna look. I'm just gonna knock these out. Go right through them. This is every super chat though that all of us received.
Okay.
Here we go. Progressive Boomer with a super chat. 18 months and I get to watch the clown show. David, thanks from one Canuck to another. Amazing. Someone paying David Dole every single month for a year and a half. And how does he repay the guy? Doesn't even stick around for the 18-month membership super chat. Just really unbelievable. I mean, how
unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Look at that. Disrespectful. I can't believe these guys.
Rude even.
Let's go to Dustin Niehoff. Became a YouTube member. Don't know who he subscribed to. Wasn't me. I'm reading it anyway. Tokyo Hans. This one is for me. That's right, Tokyo Hans. Thank you so much for the super chat. This is my 1,000 yen bet that Doug Burgum wins the debate. No risk, no reward. Right.
Wow.
He didn't do the worst, so you won on that.
I don't know.
Kowalski with a super chat. Yeah. Dark Brandon will be the winner of tonight's debate. Yeah, Biden looking good, right? David Fisher with a super chat. Thank you, David. Tokyo Hans with another super chat. Trump and my pick for VP, David Dole.
Wow. Wow. He'd get votes.
Yeah. Mikey with a super chat. Hateful tribalism is cool. That's right. That's what the Republicans are all about. Mugo BLK with a super chat. Vivek's hair reminds me of Beekman's world. A little bit. I think I know who you're talking about. Donald James, member for 2 months to someone
that's
here.
mine.
Thank you, Donald.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah?
Thanks, Donald.
Oh, nice. There
awesome.
You go. Tokyo Hans with a super chat. Mediator to Burgum. Sir, how did you get in here? Charlie de Ginemer. I can't unsee how much Vivek looks like Butthead. Does he? I mean, I guess I see it a little bit. What about you? What do you think?
It's all forehead. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Somebody should have been like, we need to tamp it down a little bit. That's classic, like men's hairstyling is you can go too much in either direction. Right?
Right. Yeah.
It's either mop top or Beavis and Butthead. You gotta find a happy medium.
Right.
Some conditioner or something. I don't
know. Renee with a super chat. Trump was too inefficient as a fascist, whereas that sounds like that could have been a number of them today, actually. Mike with a super chat. I texted the number Fox has on screen for fun. It sent me a link to a straw poll. You have to donate to participate. Of course, the recurring donation box was checked by default. Always be grifting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Renee called it the most boring rap battle ever in a super chat. Tokyo Hans. So far, the most shocking thing about this debate is discovering that someone could stand Vivek enough to have 2 kids with him.
Ooh.
I won't say anything. HK, thank you for becoming a member to somebody on this show. Catherine McSpaden with a super chat. Did we forget an abusive cop that out his ex in a mental health ward after he beaten her? Wait, what?
Oh yeah, that viral video going around of that. Have you not seen this? I think it was his mistress. It was like a cop off duty who's like holding this woman down on the ground. And somebody else is
I did
filming
see that.
it.
But what does this have to do with the? What is this? Just
There's nothing to do with the debate,
Like
right?
maybe
That
they
didn't
should
come
have
up.
brought it up at the debate or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't know if they talk about things.
Because they were very pro cop in that debate.
Yeah, right. That's probably when this was sent, right? Yeah, oof.
Yeah, we should not forget that situation. It was horrible.
We'll probably talk about that on the show tomorrow when we're not just watching the stream of the debate. Thank you for the reminder, Catherine. C with a super chat. Turn up stream audio, please. I know there's something weird where the StreamYard browser doesn't. That's the loudest that goes in StreamYard. Here, this is what we're gonna do. All right, I'm gonna pull up the debate. We're gonna rewatch the 2 hours, and I'm gonna make sure the volume is really loud. Are you ready for it, Letterhack? Here we go.
Yeah. Okay. I don't have anything to do tomorrow, so let's go.
Right, let's do it. Dynamic editor of the super chat. The fentanyl story is real. Just search up fentanyl daycare, and you'll find an NBC news story about it. Of course, what DeSantis advocates is bad. Wait, what?
Fentanyl daycare. I don't remember that. Sorry.
Oh, there was a fentanyl-related death of a baby at a daycare.
Well, fentanyl is deadly. I mean,
I don't remember what they said on the. There was a bunch of people arrested because the fentanyl was stored on kids' play mats in the daycare.
Well, like it fell out of somebody's pocket or something?
I mean...
Oh, stored. Oh,
yeah,
like where the mats were off to the side or something.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and babies, they put their mouths on everything. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, it's bad.
Listen, it's people are... There are people who do very dumb, stupid, bad things. And the Republicans have no answers.
But that's not a reason for beefing up the border. Security,
right.
you
How does
know,
that
like that's
affect-
their
yeah.
whole, yeah. Thanks to the border.
Thomas Powers with a super chat. Yo, Dave, whatever the volume, appreciate the feed and commentary from all of you. Thank you for the super chat, Thomas. David Dole appreciates you too. He's just not here to say it.
Trust us, he does.
A Cyril with a super chat. I'm so mad at this clown show. I can't believe there are millions of people who follow those people into the abyss. I mean, some people are hopeless. I'm sorry. What you can do with a super chat, trevorproject.org is there for those who need it. Yes, thank you. Everyone check out What You Can Do on YouTube. Jake from What You Can Do made that really cool 8-bit video that I have up on my channel, youtube.com/mattbinder. I think it's amazing.
So talented.
Yeah, it's amazing. More people should watch it, actually. I was a little bit disappointed about only a couple thousand people watched it. I think it deserves so much more.
I just shared it today. Yeah, it's great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That Mickey Mouse is pretty good too. You do a good impression.
Thank you. Hold on. I appreciate that, Letterhack. I'm losing it. Hold on. It's a little bit deeper. It's like, Hey, Minnie. Oh, golly gee, Goofy. There we go. I got it back.
I'm a
Renee
kid again.
with a super chat. This debate is the best Maoist propaganda. I mean, the constant references to China and the CCP is just like, oh my God. It's over the top. Environmental Coffee Ash with a super chat. I love everyone in your chat. Thanks for doing this. Still.
Oh yeah, that's my chat.
Oh, there you go.
You know, I made all of my chat mods, right? Did you know that?
Every chat guy and gal is a mod?
Yeah. Like imagine you're a bouncer and off duty you go to a bar exclusively for bouncers. And then you get bounced. That's on you. So this is how we know who is legit should be kicked out and who should stay. It's bulletproof against trolls though.
That's pretty good. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Still alive with a super chat. Lame. The Senate just passed a resolution to require business attire in the chambers. LOL. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. It is super lame. I saw that Fetterman was just like, okay, I'll wear business attire in the chambers, but not in the. I'm having a mental block. What's it called? He's not just in the chambers when he's
It's
presiding.
not in the halls. But that was like when I was a member of the Elks Lodge. They made you wear a hat inside, or take your hat off inside.
You were a member of the Elks Lodge.
Oh yeah, cheap beers. You could smoke in there.
Ooh.
Poker, pool. It was almost 24 hours a day. You can hang out in there. But they made you take your hat off. But everything else was totally fine. Sexism, racism, whatever you want. And I was like, oh yeah, but don't wear your hat. The same thing. It's like, oh yeah, you got to get dressed up to be in Congress, but anything else is kind of, whatever you want.
My dogs are goth with a super chat. Loved seeing you with the complete set of the Leftist Mafia this time.
That's one of mine. Thank you. My dogs are goth. Candace?
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Donald James with a super chat. I want to see Matt draw Rebecca.
I've done it several times. Several times.
For a second, I forgot your name was also Matt, and I was like, I can't draw. What do you want to see that for?
Oh, maybe that's what they meant.
I can't draw. I can't. So
Everyone can draw. Everyone can draw.
No, I really can't. I don't have any illustrative artistic talent. I can't draw. I can't.
Everyone does. Stick figures count.
No,
maybe your thing is sculpting clay. Have you tried that? Maybe it's watercolors.
Yeah,
branch out.
T King with a super chat. The whole debate: gas guns, gut infrastructure, gaslight America needs in war. Karu, member for 49 months. Who are you a member of for 49 months?
Wow.
Not me. You have
That's
a nice
Rebecca.
chat, Rebecca. Yeah, but he's not a member of Rebecca's channel because I don't even think her channel's monetized yet.
That's true, huh? Wow, 49 months.
49 months. Holy shit. It can't be Mike because Mike had all of his members canceled when he got off the TYT network.
Lance?
It's got to be David. Got to be David. Lance doesn't YouTube. It's got to be David.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Jeez, 49 months to David Dole.
I'll be there one day.
Choco Mingo with a super chat. These GOP whacks don't realize we're hosting the World Cup in 2026, do they? If they go along with invading Mexico, we can kiss hosting the cup goodbye. Do you think they even care about the World Cup? They do not. They don't care. They wouldn't care if that happened. Jamie Sapasnikov. So who winning the fight for VP? None of these people are going to be VP. Parker with a super chat. Nina Turner coming on Letter Hack. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so excited about that. I'm flipping out.
The anti-corporatist with a member for 2 months. Hey, Matt, I need like 20 more subs to stream. Search the anti-corporatist. I'm guessing it's got to be YouTube. Because I think you could start streaming right away on Twitch. You don't need any because that's all you can do on Twitch. That's the thing.
Oh.
On YouTube, you need to hit certain metrics to be able to stream. The Prof with a super chat. While watching the debate, I couldn't help but vote for their mics to be cut off. And all you hear from the sound speaker is, if you smell what The Rock, LOL. Yeah, I wish. That would have been pretty good. Although The Rock, I'm pretty sure The Rock is Republican. So it's possible that he would do that and then come on stage and actually take part in the debate so he could be president one day. Oh my God, I hope he doesn't.
Yeah.
Rock, please stay in your lane, man. Don't make me not like you because of this. Phantom Rose with a super chat. Trump VP will be Burgum. No, it will not. Pendulous Dragon says Florida man spreading racism whenever he can. Florida man.
That's the drawing I did with Florida man.
Jacqueline Litch with a super chat. For what it's worth for Rebecca. Well, Rebecca's not here. Is not asking too much to have a creative thinker full of energy and not have to worry about them dying. I don't recall what that was referencing. I'm sorry. Aaron Marks with the super chat. Matt, how bad will the MAGA reaction be if Biden wins next November, given they already think he stole one election and have been persecuting Trump? It's going to be bad online. I don't think they're going to try. I don't think they're going to try the same thing again after seeing what happened to the people who tried.
So many people are going to jail from like the insurrection or the attempted insurrection to the voter fraud stuff. I mean, there's consequences.
Yeah. And Tokyo Heart says, why'd you skip my previous chat? LOL. Did I?
I don't see it. Let me hold on. Let me go to my
I
chat
thought you
room.
read some.
I did.
I do think like if Biden wins again, I think they just slide deeper into the conspiracy world. I think that's very likely because people just start to lose touch.
Oh, I did skip it, but that's because it didn't show up in StreamYard. That's weird. I'll read it. I can't show it on the screen, but I can read it here. Tokyo Hans with a super chat. When Vivek speaks, Trump takes another sip of pineapple juice. Wait, what? I don't get that one. What's the pineapple juice reference? I don't recall.
Know. Voting off the island?
Karu with a super chat. David's channel, Matt. Karu is 49 months on David Dole's channel. My God.
It's loyalty.
Wow. 49 months.
Some people don't have Netflix for 49 months.
And over on, I can't do this for the others, but for me, I can. Over on Twitch, thank you, Berserk Jazerk. Resubscribe for 1 month, a tier 1 subscriber for 2 months. Berserk Jazerk says, where are the emotes we are paying for? I will get the emotes on Twitch. I'm sorry. But I'm going to be clear, you're not paying for the emotes. Those are bonuses. I always make it clear that please don't be paying for that stuff. I don't have the ability yet to have someone to help me out and spend more time on that stuff. So, you're paying for just supporting the content I put out. Everything else is just a bonus. Rude Dog 252, but I'll get him up, I promise. Rude Dog 2525, resubscriber Prime subscriber for 11 months. And Valinova cheered 500 bits. Did you see the Brianna Wu stuff today? I did not. Comcast failed me. Says pineapple is supposed to make your semen taste good. Oh my God. Oh. Ew. Ew.
Okay.
Oh. But why would Trump be? Oh. Ooh.
Change the subject.
I get it now. Oh, that's pretty good. Woo.
Right.
All right. That's a deep cut there. Not a deep cut. That's well, someone's going deep. Oh, I'm not gonna get there. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, I'm not gonna get down like that. I'm not gonna get down like that. That's what Vivek does. He gets down like that. No, let's not do that either.
He's like at home going, oh, wow. I wish Nikki Haley would yell at me more.
Ooh.
I love the abuse.
Oh, my God. All right, folks. Matt, Letter Hack, thank you so much for staying around with me. Let people know where they can find you. Use this opportunity. Hold on, got one more here. Balthazar228. Hold on. Let me pull it up on the feed. Oh, we got a few more. Hold on. Balthazar228. They don't even need Trump to have a total meltdown on live TV. Popcorn Central. Snack Panther says, good night, my 2 favorite Matts.
Snack.
Oh.
Yes.
All right. Well, let people know where to find you.
Check me out on youtube.com/theletterhack every Monday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. And lately I've been doing Fridays. I've got some collaborations in the works. So subscribe to youtube.com/theletterhack. Check me out on most social media as The Letterhack, Instagram as Friends of Strackpine. I'm interviewing all of your favorite political left-wing media figures, and it's a more intimate and in-depth conversation about how and why they do what they do, not just more of what they do. So tune in and check that out. I get a lot of positive feedback. Sometimes I get feedback beforehand where somebody's like, oh, I don't like this person and their content. And afterwards they circle back and they go, I was doing like a moral judgment thing and I really should have reserved that. Like I've listened to them talk now as a person and what motivates them. And they're just a regular individual with different set of circumstances than yourself, and you shouldn't judge them on that. So anyway, it's been really great. And like I said, the chat is amazing. The community around the channel is really fun. We have a great time and everyone should check it out. youtube.com/theletterhack.
There you go, folks. And I will be back here with the rest of Leftist Mafia tomorrow. Also, I'll be on the Majority Report tomorrow with Emma Bigland.
I love Thursdays.
Sutton. Thank you so much.
Old Matt Thursdays.
I love Thursdays too. Old Matt Thursdays. The boys are back. It's the boys on Thursdays.
Oh yeah.
With Emma. Yeah. And youtube.com/Matt Binder. Be sure to subscribe to me there. You people who watch David Dole and Mike Figueredo's channel, you're one of their 300, 400, I don't even know how many hundreds of thousands of subscribers they have. If you're subscribed to their channel, and obviously there's a lot of you, who aren't subscribed to my channel or Letterhack's channel, what are you doing? Just go click the subscribe button. Just do it. Just do it. Why
subscribe
are you not
and
doing
walk
it?
away if you
Doesn't
want.
make any sense. Subscribe. Help us
Just a button.
grow our channels. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? I don't get how I'm on a show with these guys every single week, and I'm still at 30-something thousand subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, spread it around.
What are you doing? Unbelievable. All right. I hope you, and here I am giving you guys extra content too on their channels, because we're still streaming on their channels too. I'm done with this. I'm out of here. Hitting the mic. I can't believe this. An outrage. Folks. Letterhack. Oh wait, E-Mark with the super chat. Love Letterhack's art. I know he has leftist associations. Is he also a leftist? Ooh.
Yeah, baby, and more left every day.
There you go.
Perfect
way to end the leftist.
Left
Mafia.
is best.
Oh wait, I gotta rate someone on Twitch. Let me just go do that really quick. If I end the stream before I do that, it's gonna mess it all up. I see Amy EC3 is on. Great person.
I was just on her stream recently.
There you go. So I will rate Amy EC3. And see you all tomorrow on Leftist Mafia. And thanks for joining us, Letterhack.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it. Have a good one.